Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Invasion of All Realms, I Become a God by Signing In. Chapter 1. Students, if possible, the teacher hopes that you can stay in the portal for a little longer, so that you can absorb more special factors. This is also your best opportunity to achieve a class jump. Once you obtain advanced or even higher level talents, you can even be exempted from the college entrance examination and be admitted to those first-class universities. For the sake of your own future, everyone should try to stay as long as possible. The head teacher on the podium looked at the students below with serious words, his eyes full of expectation. I hope I can awaken a powerful talent. Yi Hao looked at the playground through the window. The center of the playground was obscured by clouds of gray fog. In the mist, a white portal can be vaguely seen. This is the mysterious portal mentioned by the teacher. No one knows its origin. Under the exploration of the first pioneers, people discovered that through the mysterious portal, they could enter another world. There is a special factor that can stimulate a person's natural ability. However, only by entering for the first time can you have the opportunity to 100% obtain your own natural abilities. When you enter another world for the first time, the longer you stay, the stronger your talents will naturally be. This is why the head teacher is so sincere. As a time traveler, I should be able to acquire a powerful talent. Yi Hao withdrew his gaze and fell into memories. All students in Class 3, Grade 3, please arrive at the school playground in 5 minutes and prepare to enter the mysterious portal. On the radio, a middle-aged man's voice sounded. So fast. When the head teacher heard the sound of the radio, his face was very ugly. The sound of the announcement means that all the students in Class 1 and Class 2 have successfully awakened. But this time was less than half an hour. It can be seen that the talent levels awakened by the first two classes are only intermediate talents at their highest. Old Ben, it's time for us to set off. Seeing that something was wrong with the head teacher's expression, Lu Bao, who was sitting on the throne on the right side of the podium, reminded him in a low voice. Okay, let's go to the playground. After being reminded, the head teacher came to his senses instantly and said to the students below. After hearing what the head teacher said, the students who were already impatient stood up excitedly and ran towards the door. Slow down, why are you in such a hurry? Seeing this scene, Lao Ban showed a hint of helplessness and relief on his face. After all, the matter of talent awakening is not decided by him. All he can do is remind him, and then he can only wait for the result silently. Little Yi Zi, what level of talent do you think we can awaken this time? Yi Hao's deskmate, Zhang Sa, was walking side by side with him and couldn't help but speak. A pair of small eyes are full of longing for the future. Of course, the more advanced the better. Yi Hao smiled. The level of talent, from low to high, is divided into low level, intermediate level, high level, top level, super level and extraordinary level. It is said that above the extraordinary level, there are king level, emperor level, and emperor level talents. It's a pity that extraordinary talents are already the limit that humans can awaken. Therefore, as long as you awaken talents above the advanced level, you can be exempted from the college entrance examination and directly admitted to those top universities. Zhang Sa nodded. I hope so. Okay, everyone, let's go in. On the playground, the teacher in charge nodded gently after confirming the number of people in Class 3. Let's go. Yi Hao looked at the gray fog in front of him, took a deep breath, and then plunged into it. Seeing this, Zhang Sa on the side also quickly followed. Is this another world? After entering the fog, Yi Hao felt like he was wrapped in something. When he gained vision again, he found that he had appeared in a new environment. Surrounded by huge trees and lush grass, Zhang Sa, who was originally following Yi Hao, disappeared at this time. Is it really random? Yi Hao carefully observed the surrounding environment and breathed a sigh of relief after not noticing Zhang Sa's figure. When they were in school, the teacher told them that when entering the secret realm, the place they entered was random. The chance of two people being teleported to the same location at the same time is very small. Is this the so-called protective film? Looking at the gray film wrapping himself, Yi Hao curiously stretched out his hand to touch it. The touch was like touching a piece of ice. It is said that this is the protection given by the secret realm, but it is only limited to life forms from other worlds that enter the secret realm for the first time. Entering again, there will not be such good treatment. And under the protection of the protective film, it is absolutely safe. Now, he only needs to wait silently for the special factor to baptize him. The longer you stay, the better the baptism effect will be, and the better the awakened talent will be. Daily sign in only low-level talent, you can sign in once a day. Current level 0. Upgrade requirements. Sign in 10 times. Quote question mark quote. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. Looking at the sudden extra information in his mind, Yi Hao knew that he had successfully awakened his own unique talent. However, this awakening time is too fast. It was so fast that it was hard for him to accept and believe it. After all, the time it took him to absorb the mysterious factor was probably less than 3 minutes. One can imagine how rubbish his awakened talent is. Dry. Before he was ready to sign in for the first time, Yi Hao saw the gray protective film slowly disappearing, and then a terrifying suction force came towards him, sucking him in an instant. This made him curse uncontrollably. The moment he opened his eyes again, he felt that he was being stared at with pity. He was kicked out in less than 3 minutes. The teacher in charge raised his left hand and looked at the leather watch on his wrist. Well, there was a hint of helplessness in his eyes. You don't even need to confirm, you know that the other party has awakened a low-level talent. Teacher, I'm going back first. Yi Hao looked at the teacher's strange look and didn't know how to explain it, so he could only say it bravely. Go. The teacher in charge recorded Yi Hao's entry and exit times on the form, then gently waved his hand to indicate that he could leave. Sign in. Yi Hao activated his talent while walking. Sign in successfully, congratulations on getting 10 points of blood. After the information appeared, Yi Hao felt that there was a mysterious power in his body. After integrating that mysterious power, he felt that his energy and blood had improved a lot. Is this a junior talent? After seeing his energy and blood surge by 10 points, Yi Hao froze on the spot. It was just an ordinary check-in, and without paying anything, my blood increased by 10 points. Is this still a primary talent? Perhaps it is because of my status as a time traveler that I have awakened such a talent. At this time, Yi Hao has realized that his natural ability is a bit extraordinary. Moreover, he logged into the Talent Awakening app through his mobile phone. I didn't find my own talent in it, or even something similar. Maybe, only he can awaken this talent. Otherwise, the unique word would not appear on it. Does this make you a warrior? Yi Hao couldn't help but exclaimed. Before the mysterious portal appeared, the blood of ordinary adults was basically one. With the emergence of the mysterious portal, humans have obtained a lot of martial arts skills from it. By practicing these martial arts techniques, the chi and blood of the Blue Star people gradually improved. Humans with blood below 10 are called warriors. Once the chi and blood reaches 10 points, you can be called a warrior. Yi Hao has been practicing basic martial arts for more than 10 years, but he only has 5 points of chi and blood, and is still halfway to becoming a true warrior. But now, with just one check-in, his energy and blood have exceeded 15 points. This is the horror of talent. Yi Hao, you didn't go to the playground. In the classroom, the old classmate looked at Yi Hao and couldn't help but frown. Yi Hao said helplessly, Laoban, I have awakened my talent. What? When he heard that the other party had successfully awakened, Laoban looked at the clock on the wall in disbelief. What I awakened is just a primary talent. Yi Hao said helplessly. What he awakened was not a simple elementary talent, so he didn't have too many expressions. But in Laoban's eyes, his expression was a choice of self-destruction. In response, he couldn't help but pull Yi Hao to sit down. He advised, Yi Hao, you don't have to give up. Outside the mysterious door, there is not only one world connected, but countless magical secret worlds. In these secret realms, there are many mysterious substances that can evolve talents. As long as you obtain those mysterious substances, you still have a chance. Quote. Speaking of this, Laoban couldn't help but become unconfident in his tone. The mysterious substance that can evolve talents can only be obtained by killing those powerful guardian beings. For ordinary people, it is simply difficult to obtain mysterious substances. Strength and luck are indispensable. Okay, Laoban, I won't give up. Yi Hao looked at the other party's concerned expression and smiled helplessly. But he couldn't explain his talent to the other party, which was his most important secret. Moreover, he couldn't explain it clearly. His talent is not a simple elementary talent. That's good. Lao Ban looked at the strong confidence emanating from the other party and slowly breathed a sigh of relief. In this world, although talents are of great help to warriors, there are also some owners of elementary talents who are heading to the top of the world. If you choose to give up on yourself, then the other person will have to do this for the rest of his life. Fortunately, his students did not choose to give up. Soon, as time passed, more and more students were kicked out of the mysterious portal. Yi Hao, why did you come out so fast? Zhang Sa returned to the classroom and frowned slightly when he saw Yi Hao already sitting in his seat. Yi Hao said dumbfounded, "If I said that I was kicked out within 3 minutes, wouldn't you believe it?" Ah, seeing Yi Hao's expression that didn't look like he was joking, Zhang Sa opened his mouth in surprise. "Okay, tell me about yourself. What is the level of awakened talent? Intermediate or advanced?" Yi Hao looked at Zhang Sa with curious eyes. The other party had persisted for a long time, at least 20 minutes, so he must have at least intermediate talent. Intermediate talent, violent, Zhang Sa said directly. Once a talent like rage is used, it cannot be concealed, so there is no need to conceal it. It's actually violent. This talent is pretty good. Yi Hao's eyes lit up and he was happy that Zhang Sa could awaken his violent talent. A level of rage can provide a 30% bonus to all attributes. A little qi in blood is equivalent to 1.3 qi in blood. The higher the qi in blood, the higher the bonus. When the level of rage goes up, you can even fight across levels. This time, the other party will definitely get a good result in the college entrance examination. Don't worry, I will protect you during the college entrance examination. Zhang Sa patted Yi Hao on the shoulder with a proud look and said with a smile. During the college entrance examination, it is usually in a secret realm. When the time comes, he will bring the other party with him, so that his score can be improved a little. Okay, then my college entrance examination depends entirely on you. Yi Hao smiled. After knowing that he had awakened his elementary talent, Zhang Sa decided to take him with him. He was worthy of being his good brother. However, when the time comes for the college entrance examination, I don't know who will take care of whom. In just one day, he gained 10 points of energy and blood. When I take the college entrance examination in a month, I may not know what level my energy and blood will reach. Isn't Bai Ling out yet? The old class looked at the students who were arriving one after another and began to call the roll call. After discovering that one student was missing and the radio had not sounded for a long time, he couldn't help but have a terrifying idea in his mind. That means Bai Ling is still in the portal. After such a long time, at least he has developed a foundation for high-level talents. Bai Ling is going to fall on your head now. Zhang Sa looked at his deskmate with a teasing expression. Yi Hao's liberal arts scores have always ranked first in the school. And Bai Ling is the second best in the school. In this way, the other party's awakened at least advanced talent was completely on Yi Hao's head. Is it at least a high-level talent? Looking at the time, Yi Hao murmured. However, he believes that his signing talent is not inferior to others. Zhang Sa sighed. From now on, Bai Ling and we will no longer be on the same page. Indeed, we will no longer be on the same page from now on. Yi Hao nodded in agreement. After the awakening day, all students with advanced talents and above will be transferred out and formed into the genius class. When the time comes, they will also form a team to take the college entrance examination. The purpose is to achieve better results. Although those with advanced talents can be exempted from the college entrance examination, some top martial arts universities and the Big Four are not among them. Only by obtaining enough scores in the college entrance examination can you join these top universities. Therefore, in order to join forces, basically all schools do this. After a full hour, Bai Ling's figure finally appeared in the square. The proud and delicate body exudes the brilliance of holiness. Behind him, a pair of white wings stretched out. With a gentle wave, she reached the ground in an instant. The speed is so fast that it is impressive. As she landed, the white wings behind her turned into a shower of light and slowly dissipated. The radiance of holiness seems to be able to wash away all the filth in the world. Winged angel, Bai Ling never came out of the portal and had already attracted the school leaders. When they saw the pair of holy wings, they all showed incredible expressions. Because, the double-winged angel talent is a top talent. And as the strength increases, the two-winged angel will evolve and become a four-winged angel, or even a six-winged angel. This is a powerful talent that can be upgraded. Those beings who awakened the two-winged angels in history, as long as they grow up, they can at least become powerful beings guarding a region. This time, their school found a treasure. No, you have to report immediately and apply for a protector for classmate Bai Ling. As the principal of a school, Lu Chun quickly dialed a mysterious number the moment he saw the wings. There are many opposition forces in the country, some from abroad, and some from behind the mysterious portals. When facing a genius, they will never let it grow. Therefore, in order to protect these geniuses, a guardian organization has been established above. Powerful talent holders can apply to be guardians from above. Okay, principal, I understand. After answering the phone, Lao Ban's eyes were a little dull. Bai Ling was actually protected directly. This means that the other party has definitely awakened a powerful talent. It was so powerful that the principal directly chose to protect it. He didn't even want to let the other person go back to his class for a final farewell. At least he has awakened his top talent, Lao Ban murmured. However, he didn't think much about it. After awakening the top talent, the other party's future is no longer something that his ordinary class teacher can see. After calming down his emotions, he slowly walked to the podium. Looking at the classmates below, Lao Ban said helplessly, Bai Ling's awakening has been completed. Due to some special reasons, he has been protected. You don't have to wait any longer. Did you really awaken some great talent? Yi Hao and Zhang Sa looked at each other, both seeing the surprise in the other's eyes. The other students also communicated quietly. They were all curious about Bai Ling. Okay, everyone, please be quiet. The old classmate looked at the excited students below and patted the podium gently. After years of pressure, the students in the class quickly became quiet. Seeing the students below calm down, the old class nodded with satisfaction. Then he said, is there anyone in the class who has awakened advanced talents? Teacher, I have awakened my advanced talent. As soon as Lao Ban finished speaking, Wang Li stood up with a proud look on his face. Inadvertently, his peripheral vision also glanced at Yi Hao. After seeing that Yi Hao didn't move, he became even more proud. Unexpectedly, even Wang Li has awakened his advanced talent. Zhang Sa also looked stunned. For this guy who is usually a second-rate person and has never been lovable, he has actually awakened a high-level talent. Is it really a matter of face? Yi Hao also felt Wang Li's eyes and frowned slightly. As the squad leader, he offends this guy a lot on weekdays. Although he is not afraid of the other party, he also hates trouble. And according to the other party's character, it won't be long before he comes to cause trouble for him. At that time, I can only be ruthless and solve this trouble at once. After thinking about it clearly, Yi Hao felt obviously much more relaxed. But Wang Li didn't know that he had been sentenced to death in Yi Hao's heart. Yes, I will take you to register after class. After seeing that there was actually a high-level talent in his class, Lao Ban felt even better. He immediately nodded with satisfaction. Okay, Lao Ban. Wang Li said with a proud smile. Lao Ban signaled. Okay, sit down. After seeing the other party sit down, Lao Ban spoke again. Students with low-level talents and intermediate talents, don't worry. In order to help everyone get better results in the college entrance examination, the school has decided to open the low-level secret realm in the back mountain. All students in the third year of high school, everyone can enter it for free, and the resources obtained belong to themselves. What? All go, when did the school get so good? That's right, that low-level secret realm usually charges 100 low-level soul stones for an hour. I feel it's because of Bai Ling. I feel the same way. The school wants to attract attention by opening the low-level secret realm for free. I don't care about this. It's free anyway. If you don't go, it will be in vain. The students were talking a lot, and they were all surprised by the school's generosity. But they also guessed that all this should be related to Bai Ling's awakening. I didn't expect it to be free. Yi Hao was also very excited. His parents in this life were ordinary people, and they didn't have much pocket money on weekdays. Therefore, he has only been to the back of the school a few times. Now that it's free, he is naturally very happy. Yi Hao, are you going to the secret realm after class? Zhang Sa extended an invitation to Yi Hao. Although his family's conditions were better than Yi Hao's, he couldn't bear the price of 100 low-level soul stones an hour. Now that it's free, he is unwilling to give up any opportunity. Good. Yi Hao nodded. The low-level secret realm is actually the world behind the mysterious portal. The world behind the mysterious portal is as numerous as the stars. But these worlds are large and small, so they are divided by the powerful. Behind the mysterious portal in the back mountain of Anhai number 1 middle school is a low-level secret realm, but the space inside is equivalent to the size of more than a dozen Anhai provinces. In fact, there is also a secret realm in the school square, which is the mysterious portal where they awakened. However, that secret realm is a high-level secret realm, and the most powerful monster in it has reached level 5. The equivalent of a human martial king. P.S. Warrior levels. Warrior, Martial Master, Grandmaster, Grandmaster, Martial King, Martial Emperor, Martial Emperor. Previously, the school only allowed students to enter with confidence because it had a protective film when entering for the first time. Now, the only ones suitable for training are the low-level secret realms in the back mountains. The most powerful monster inside is only the second level, the equivalent of a strong human martial artist. However, most of the monsters in the primary secret realm are monsters that have not yet entered the advanced level. Only in the central area of the secret realm can you have a chance to encounter those second-level monsters. Walk. Yi Hao nodded to Zhang Sa, then picked up his school bag and walked out. Zhang Sa also followed closely behind. Soon, many senior high school students came to the back of the school. However, because Bioling's awakening takes up too much time, there are still many grades that have not yet completed their awakening. Therefore, the number of high school seniors in Haoshan has not yet reached its peak. But it still feels crowded. Who is it? Don't touch me. If you touch me again, I will fight back. Oh, stop squeezing, my pussy is going to explode. Who took it from me? Don't squeeze. Seeing the crowds in front of them, Yi Hao and Zhang Sa looked at each other, feeling very helpless. They took a few steps back in perfect agreement. Quiet. Soon, the teacher in charge arrived. He stepped on a flying sword under his feet and walked with the sword. After seeing the crowded crowd below, he also felt a headache. But facing this group of students, he couldn't take action directly, so he could only shout loudly. Everyone step back 5 meters. I'll open the secret realm first. Fortunately, these students all respected the teacher very much and were very obedient and quiet down. They all stepped back. After seeing this scene, he nodded with satisfaction. Then, he drew a special mark with his right hand in the void, triggering the hidden magic circle. With the blessing of the magic circle, a white portal instantly appeared in the distance. Gray mist spread out from the gap, covering everything around it. Okay, everyone can go in. The teacher in charge gently wiped the sweat from his forehead before speaking. Fortunately, he recently broke through to the master realm, otherwise he would have collapsed from exhaustion. Let's go, see you outside then. Yi Hao looked at Zhang Sa, then strode in. Low-level secret realms are not as difficult to control as high-level secret realms. Under the interference of advanced formations, they will basically be teleported to the outer area after entering. However, even the outer area is very large. It is actually unlikely that they will meet. Good. Zhang Sa also nodded. Then he walked in. When Yi Hao opened his eyes again, he found that he had appeared beside a creek. The time in the low-level secret realm is basically synchronized with the outside world. Basically, if you stay for 1 day, you will be kicked out of the secret realm. I hope I can meet you. Yi Hao thought of Zhang Sa and hoped that the other party had not encountered a monster that was too powerful. Puff. Just when Yi Hao was in a daze, a water arrow suddenly shot out of the stream and hit him directly between his eyebrows. Swordfish. Yi Hao gathered the energy and blood in his body and punched out. The powerful energy and blood directly shattered the water arrow. He frowned slightly, then looked towards the stream. A small transparent fish quickly jumped out of the water, followed by another water arrow. In an instant, Yi Hao remembered the other party's information in his mind. Swordfish has a talent, water arrow, which can condense the surrounding water into arrows to launch attacks. Based on the one-time condensed water arrow, you can see the opponent's realm. The swordfish in front of me is obviously not yet advanced. In front of Yi Hao, a first-level warrior, he was obviously not enough. Die. Yi Hao punched and shattered the water arrow again. Pick up a small stone at random, wrap the energy in blood, and then throw it hard. At several times the speed of the opponent's water arrow, the pebble directly hit the swordfish, knocking the opponent unconscious and floating on the water as if dead. Just in time for dinner. Looking at the swordfish floating on the water, Yi Hao licked his lips with satisfaction. Then he broke off a branch, inserted the swordfish on the water, and lifted it up. Under the severe pain, the swordfish woke up instantly and twisted wildly. Unfortunately, after being separated from the water flow, its talent was completely useless and it could only be manipulated by Yi Hao. Soon, Yi Hao cleaned up the swordfish in his hands, lit a fire, and started grilling the fish. Not long after, a faint fragrance wafted out. It's really delicious. Yi Hao sprinkled the seasonings he had prepared on the swordfish from his school bag, adding a bit more flavor to the already delicious swordfish. A gentle sip fills your mouth with fragrance. In the school cafeteria, swordfish like this one costs 30 low-level soul stones. And demand exceeds supply. Unexpectedly, as soon as he entered the secret realm today, the swordfish was delivered to his door. He was really lucky. Squeak. A gray figure jumped down from Yi Hao's head, but its target was not Yi Hao, but the grilled fish in his hand. Obviously, this was a greedy guy who was attracted by the grilled fish in Yi Hao's hand. I thought my skills had declined. Yi Hao grabbed the branch in his hand and instantly moved back a few meters along with the grilled fish on it. He looked at the guy in front of him and smiled. He barbecued so blatantly to attract the attention of other monsters. Unfortunately, the monster that came did not meet his requirements. It is still a low-level monster that has no quality. The gray figure also flew into the air. After discovering that the grilled fish was no longer where it was, the gray monkey raised his head and looked at Yi Hao with a dissatisfied look on his face. Want to eat? Yi Hao watched the other party staring at the grilled fish in his hand, and then gently shook the branch in his hand. The gray monkey also kept changing its attention as he shook. Seeing this scene, he directly stretched out the grilled fish in his hand. The gray monkey was confused for a few seconds. After realizing that Yi Hao made no movement, he slowly walked towards Yi Hao. However, the tense muscles all over its body meant that it was not as relaxed as imagined. But it couldn't let go of the delicious food in front of it. What a greedy person. Seeing the gray monkey so close at hand, Yi Hao had no intention of continuing to play. He reached out with one hand and grabbed the gray monkey's neck in an instant. Before the opponent had time to resist, Yi Hao directly mobilized the blood and energy in his body and broke the opponent's throat. Soon, the gray monkey stopped moving. We should be able to sell it for 50 low-level soul stones. Yi Hao looked at the gray monkey in front of him and nodded with satisfaction. In this world, unlike those guys in the previous life, there was no one to protect them. Soul stones are unique products of the secret world. As currency, it can also be used for people to practice. Slowly, its existence replaced other currencies in the world. It has become the only transaction currency recognized by Blue Star people. 50 low-level soul stones are equivalent to 50 yuan in the previous life. Unfortunately, the two monsters he encountered in succession were both unqualified monsters. If it is an advanced monster, the value of the monster must be at least 10 times higher. Thinking of this, Yi Hao raised his head and looked at the forest in the distance. The sun was setting in the west, and the dark forest was filled with chilly air. It was like a monster with its huge mouth open, waiting for him to fall into a trap. The deeper you go into the forest, the higher the level of the monsters inside. However, it is also easy to meet some forest overlords. With his current strength, it would be difficult to protect himself after entering. Thinking of this, Yi Hao gave up the idea of going deep into the forest. The stars in this secret realm are similar to the stars on the Blue Star. It's late at night. Yi Hao leaned on the branch, raised his head and looked at the stars in the night sky, and murmured. I just don't know if this world is far from Blue Star. Through the mysterious portal, countless different worlds are connected to Blue Star. I also know what secrets there are in this world. It can attract the attention of all races in the world. Is it already early in the morning? Seeing that his talent had recovered, Yi Hao's eyes lit up. He didn't expect time to fly by so fast. Sign in. Now, Yi Hao's goal is to improve his strength as soon as possible. Signing in is currently the fastest way for him to improve his strength. Sign in successfully. Congratulations on getting the junior talent. Recovery. Recovery. Elementary talent. Restores 0.005% of lost blood per second. Current level. 1. Upgrade requirements. Realm improvement. Is this the second talent? Looking at the talents obtained by signing in, Yi Hao was very surprised. His talent is indeed not a simple talent. When you sign in for the first time, you will be rewarded with energy and blood. The second time I signed in, the reward was actually talent. Although in the secret realm, many powerful heavenly materials and earthly treasures can help others obtain second talents, they are not accessible to ordinary people. But now, he only needs to simply sign in to get it. The most important thing is that although the recovery talent is only a low-level talent, it is very practical. In this world, Qi and blood are everything a warrior has, and the talent that can restore Qi and blood is undoubtedly a powerful existence. Yi Hao looked at his hands excitedly. It took just over a day after I awakened to become a warrior, and I also have a second talent. My future achievements are limitless. Just when Yi Hao was immersed in excitement, wisps of breeze blew towards him, carrying a slight smell of blood. Quote. Yi Hao turned his head instantly and looked at the place where the smell of blood came from. It was obvious that there was something there. But that direction was already deep in the forest, and the possibility of encountering a first-level monster increased greatly. He, who had just obtained his second talent, calmed down instantly. At night in the secret realm, the danger level is indeed several times that of the daytime. Thinking of this, Yi Hao tightened his clothes so that he could stay warmer. Although he has the strength of a warrior, he has just stepped into the warrior class. With 15 points of energy and blood, he is only at the first level of a warrior. Monsters, even first-level monsters, are in a crushing posture when facing ordinary warriors. Only those warriors who have practiced powerful martial arts have the possibility to kill the opponent. Deep in the forest, a tall black giant bear stood up like a giant at work. It raised a colorful giant tiger high, and after letting out a roar, it tore the giant tiger in its hand into 2 pieces. Bright red blood flowed down, and the giant bear opened its huge mouth and swallowed the fresh blood happily. While eating fresh meat, its huge pupils looked into the distance, exactly in the direction where Yi Hao was. It's a pity that second-level monsters like them can't leave this forest, otherwise they want to have a taste of humans. It has once devoured human flesh and blood, and no matter how long it takes, it will never forget the taste. What a terrifying roar! Yi Hao also heard this angry roar and couldn't help but look deep into the forest again. However, he has nothing to worry about. This elementary secret realm has been controlled by the school for hundreds of years, and several powerful magic circles have been set up in the forest. Monsters that are above the restricted level cannot leave the forest at all, and these guys can only roar with dissatisfaction. It won't be long before we may be able to meet. Yi Hao believes in his talent for signing, and it won't be long before he can see this guy's true face. Time passed quickly, and it felt like not long before there was a red light at the end of the sky. Is it daylight already? Seeing that it was already dawn, Yi Hao rubbed his eyes, yawned, and jumped down from the tree. The trees in the other world are relatively thick, and the branches are like a bed, so he sleeps comfortably. Yi Hao washed up casually by the stream, caught a few stone frogs that happened to be resting there, and had another delicious breakfast. After eating and drinking, he looked up and around, and finally chose the left. The distribution of various regions in this primary secret realm is no secret in Anhai number 1 middle school. The location where he was teleported this time was just on the edge of the center of the secret realm. According to the map given by the school, he now walks to the left of the creek. When he reaches the end, he will encounter a plain. When he goes to the right, he will encounter a desert. In comparison, Yi Hao still prefers plains. More importantly, there are many monsters on the plains. If he could hunt a few, it would be enough for his living expenses for a month. After walking for nearly 2 hours, a piece of green finally appeared at the end of Yi Hao's field of vision. It's finally here. Seeing this touch of green, Yi Hao also breathed a sigh of relief. Monitor Yi. Just when Yi Hao was about to move on, an excited voice came from afar. Hearing this familiar voice, Yi Hao looked curiously into the distance. When he saw the appearance of the person coming, a look of surprise appeared on his face. He didn't expect that the first person he met would be the other person. But he still took the initiative to say hello. Zhao Li, it's you. As the leader of the first class, his grades were number 1 in the school, and his good looks were only a few points below the average reader, making him the only school boy in Anhai number 1 middle school. The Zhao Li in front of her had sent him love letters more than once. Therefore, when he saw Zhao Li, he still felt a little unnatural. Monitor, I didn't expect that I would meet you. Looking at Yi Hao, who was still so handsome, Zhao Li, who was his little crush, had little stars in her eyes. Looking at the other party's eyes that seemed to eat him, Yi Hao looked a little embarrassed and could only look away and said, I'm surprised too. By the way, have you seen Zhang Sa? Yi Hao thought of his deskmate. After all, they had an agreement, so he looked at each other again. Zhao Li shook her head gently. No, I have seen you, Monitor, since I came in yesterday. Apart from that, not to mention people, not even monsters. Then you are very lucky. Yi Hao didn't know how to say it well. He met a lot of monsters, killed 2 that were not yet at the first level, and 1 that seemed to be a second-level monster. But not one of them was encountered. Squad leader, are you going to Pingyuan? Zhao Li did not say anything more on this topic and raised her head to look at the plain not far away. Well, I'm going to hunt down some monsters and take them out. Yi Hao didn't hide it either. After hearing Yi Hao's confirmation, Zhao Li directly grabbed Yi Hao's arm and said with a smile, Squad leader, just take me with you, I will help you, and all the gains will be yours. All right. Yi Hao looked at Zhao Li in front of him and couldn't say no, so he could only nod. Squad leader, there's a leopard ahead. Suddenly, Zhao Li, who was walking, stopped suddenly. Yi Hao looked in the direction of Zhao Li's finger and saw a black figure. However, the other party did not notice Yi Hao's arrival. Zhao Li looked at Yi Hao who was squatting down, and she also squatted down quickly, looked at Yi Hao, and whispered, Squad leader, can you deal with this Black Panther? She could see that the Black Panther in front of her had not yet entered the rank, so she had thoughts about him, but it all depended on Yi Hao. With her strength, she was no match for this Black Panther, but Yi Hao was different. Not low, and the level of martial arts training is also above hers. With Yi Hao's strength and her talent, the Black Panther is no problem. Okay, you wait here. Yi Hao naturally knew that the Black Panther in front of him had not entered the advanced level, so he also became interested. After finishing speaking, he slowly moved toward the Black Panther. I don't know if he slept too soundly, but when Yi Hao touched the tree, the Black Panther on the trunk still showed no reaction. Tezu Chengquan. Faced with such a good opportunity, Yi Hao naturally would not give up. After entering his attack range, he directly used his full strength. Tezu Chengquan was obtained by the pioneers from the natives of a high-level world. It is a first-level martial skill. The power of martial arts that has reached a higher level cannot be underestimated. What's more, Yi Hao has already cultivated this first-grade martial arts to the great perfection state. At this time, Tezu's long fist punched out, and with the blessing of his terrifying energy and blood, it was like an iron fist falling from the sky, hitting the Black Panther's abdomen directly with extremely terrifying force. The Black Panther, who was still sleeping, had no time to react and was directly blown away by Yi Hao's punch. Then he twitched a few times on the ground and stopped moving. Squad leader, you are too fierce. Seeing Yi Hao's bravery, Zhao Li jumped up excitedly. She knew that this Black Panther was no match for Yi Hao, but she did not expect that Yi Hao could kill the Black Panther in front of her with one punch. I was able to kill this Black Panther so easily because the other party didn't notice my arrival at all and made a sneak attack. Otherwise, although I could kill it, it would not be so easy. Yi Hao was also a little excited, but when he thought that he relied on a sneak attack to kill the opponent so easily, the excitement in his heart was slightly less. It's a pity. I originally wanted to use my talent to give you a blessing, but I didn't expect you, squad leader, to kill him right away. Zhao Li thought of something, her little mouth bulged with dissatisfaction, and she became a little more naughty. Are you awakening auxiliary talents? Yi Hao looked at Zhao Li curiously, a little more interested. After graduating from college, most warriors will choose their teammates to form a team, and then enter those large secret worlds. Having an auxiliary talent owner in the team is undoubtedly the best choice. I just don't know what talent the other party has awakened. Although after awakening his talent for signing in, Yi Hao chose to be a lone wolf in order to prevent others from discovering his strangeness, but he still could not hide his inner curiosity. Maybe, this is the gossip heart of people from the Dragon Kingdom. Zhao Li did not choose to hide Yi Hao, and said with a smile, what I awakened is an intermediate talent, authority. It's such a talent, it's not bad. After hearing that the other party's awakened talent was authority, Yi Hao nodded in agreement. Authority, intermediate talent. Level 1 authority can increase the target's all attributes by 10%. And as the level increases, the number of increased targets will also increase. It can be said to be a good talent. Zhao Li still felt a little regretful and said, it's a pity that I didn't have time to give you an increase just now. There will be opportunities in the future. Yi Hao made a ha-ha. Then, he looked at the Black Panther's body on the ground and frowned slightly. I'll do it. Zhao Li saw Yi Hao's thoughts and stretched out her soft right hand. A flash of black light passed by. The body of the Black Panther in front of him had disappeared. Space ring. At this time, Yi Hao was slightly surprised when he saw the black ring on the finger of Zhao Li's right hand. Blue Star currently does not have the ability to make this kind of space ring. Mainly the main material needed for this kind of ring, it was also discovered on Blue Star that it could only be obtained in the secret world. Therefore, every space ring is extremely expensive. Thinking of this, Yi Hao said with a hint of joking, I didn't expect you to be a rich woman. Monitor, if you agree to be my boyfriend, I can give you this space ring, how about it? After saying that, Zhao Li looked into Yi Hao's eyes with a hint of excitement. Moreover, his body was getting closer and closer to Yi Hao. Well, forget it, I still have some ideas in this regard. Seeing Zhao Li getting closer and closer, Yi Hao was so frightened that he took a few steps back and waved his hands repeatedly. He didn't expect that the other party would be so bold and choose to confess directly. Although eating soft rice is very delicious, Yi Hao is not that kind of person. All right. Zhao Li looked at Yi Hao who was running away, with a hint of disappointment in her eyes. However, this disappointment soon disappeared without a trace. After all, this is not the first time Yi Hao has rejected him. Dong dong. The sudden sound was as deafening as thunder, instantly awakening the two people in silence. Why did the Iron Bull herd start to riot again? Seeing this scene, coupled with Tianyu, Yi Hao and Zhao Li both saw the confusion in each other's eyes. Iron Bull is a gregarious monster beast. During the riot, existences below the third level can only avoid it. However, what puzzles Yi Hao and the two is that it is not the time for Tianyu to riot now. Every year, and only during migration and breeding, the iron cattle herd would riot. The rioting Iron Bull herd is very abnormal. Exit the secret realm first. Yi Hao looked at Zhao Li helplessly, with a hint of pity in his tone. He looked at the time and saw that there were still 9 hours left before entering the secret realm. The next time you enter, you have to wait another 24 hours. Well, there's nothing we can do. Zhao Li nodded. The rioting Iron Bull group, unless the school takes action, otherwise they have no ability to resist. Subsequently, the two activated the tokens in their bodies. The next second, the two of them were kicked out by the heavenly Tao of the secret realm. Squad leader, I will sell this Black Panther for you and then transfer the money to you. After going out, Zhao Li thought for a while and said, okay, then I'll trouble you. Yi Hao nodded. It's okay, it's just a small problem. Zhao Li shook her head indifferently and left. It's Bai Ling. Yi Hao, who was about to leave, actually saw Bai Ling, who had disappeared for a day, and the other party also appeared in the back. It seems that he has just come out of the secret realm. He must have encountered the Iron Bull herd riot. However, there was an old man standing next to him. When Yi Hao looked at Bai Ling, the old man also looked at him and beat Yi Hao up and down. This old man is extraordinary. Yi Hao didn't expect that he would be spotted by the old man just by glancing at Bai Ling, and he would understand how extraordinary he was. Mr. Zhou, that's my classmate. Bai Ling also noticed Yi Hao, nodded and smiled at him, and then explained to the old man beside him. This is the protector assigned to him from above, a real Grand Master. Mr. Zhou actually discovered that Yi Hao had become a warrior, so he took a few more glances, but he did not doubt Yi Hao's identity. After all, on the way to school, he had read all of Bai Ling's information and learned about all of Bai Ling's social circles, so he naturally knew Yi Hao's identity. If he hadn't seen that Yi Hao had become a warrior, he wouldn't even have raised his eyes. But that's all. He always had only one purpose, and that was Bai Ling in front of him. Let's go, Mr. Zhou, I feel that this riot has something to do with me. Bai Ling withdrew her gaze. After learning that she had awakened the talent of the two-winged angel, Yi Hao, the man she once wanted to surpass, could only look up to her now. Now, she just wants to get the top rankings in the martial arts exam in a month's time and join the 4 majors. In the future, become a king with his own title. It should be some special existence that has sensed your talent. Mr. Zhou used heavenly materials and earthly treasures to suppress his strength to the 2nd level, entering a low-level secret realm. After discovering the danger, Bai Ling was brought out. He thought for a moment and spoke. Some monsters have special talents and can sense information about other lives, including talents and even bloodlines. In order to break through their own upper limit, powerful monsters will choose to kill those owners with advanced talents to feed their own talents. It's a pity that I couldn't enter the depths of the forest. If I could find that earth fruit, I would be able to advance my talent in advance. There was a little pity in Bai Ling's tone. The reason why she chose to take Mr. Zhou in was to let Mr. Zhou block and even kill those 2nd-level monsters, and then she went to pick the fruits. It's a pity that the two of them are really unlucky. After entering the secret realm, he appeared directly in the depths of the plain. Mr. Zhou's strength was suppressed and he was unable to use the methods that a Grand Master should have. Coupled with the riot of the Iron Bull group, they had to withdraw early before they could get out of the plain. It's okay, we can just enter again when the time is up. Mr. Zhou didn't think much about it. With his strength, unless he encounters another beast wave similar to the Iron Bull herd, no one can be his opponent. Bai Ling also nodded gently. In that case, I have to look at Mr. Zhou next time. It's okay, after all, my existence is to help you grow quickly. After Mr. Zhou finished speaking, a dark light flashed in his eyes. Go home first. Seeing Bai Ling leave, Yi Hao didn't stay much longer. After all, the relationship between the two of them was just that of ordinary classmates. It was good to be able to look at each other and nod. In this world, with the blessing of martial arts, human mental strength has been greatly enhanced. Therefore, all liberal arts subjects in high school have been completed before the senior year. By the senior year, they basically practice martial arts. Top high schools all do this, in order to use their senior year to fight for a future. In the last month of my senior year, I was even more relaxed. Basically, I didn't even have to come to school. It depends on self-discipline. Yi Hao's home in this world is not far from school, and it didn't take long to reach the community where his home is located. Xiaoyi, why are you back at this time? Isn't my Xiao Zhang with you? Just as he arrived at the gate of the community, a gorgeously dressed middle-aged woman looked at Yi Hao and said hello. The visitor was Zhang Sa's mother, who rented in the same community as Yi Hao so that her son could be closer to school. When she saw that Zhang Sa was not around Yi Hao, she was slightly worried. When Yi Hao saw that it was Zhang Sa's mother, he also stopped and explained, I came out early when I encountered the beast tide in the secret plane. Zhang Sa was not in the plane, so he probably didn't encounter the beast tide. According to the time, he should come out soon. Quote. After hearing that her child was okay, Zhang's mother breathed a sigh of relief, and immediately asked with concern, then you encountered the beast tide and were not injured? It's okay. If I encounter danger, I will quit. Yi Hao smiled. After chatting with Zhang's mother for a few more words, the two separated. Zhang Sa's mother does care about him, but she has never met his father. Yi Hao looked at Zhang's mother's back and whispered a few words. He and Zhang Sa had played together since childhood, but they had never met each other's father, and even Zhang Sa rarely mentioned each other. However, he didn't think much and walked straight towards his home. Xiao Hao, are you back? Listening to the sudden sound of the door opening, Mother Yi raised her head, and when she saw it was her precious son, a smile appeared on her face. Looking at Yi's mother, Yi Hao sat on the sofa very naturally, Well, I'm back. How about it? There's no danger in the secret realm. Yi Emu's eyes were full of worry. I haven't encountered any danger, and with the formations arranged by the school, as long as I don't go to the forest, I basically won't encounter those advanced monsters. Yi Hao explained with a smile. As for his encounter with the beast tide, he had no intention of telling the other party, so as not to worry the other party and think too much. Anyway, nothing happened. Bite. Suddenly, Yi Hao's cell phone rang. He picked it up and saw that it was Zhao Lifa's WeChat message and a transfer of 350 low-level soul stones. Before leaving, Yi Hao gave the monkey he had killed earlier to the other party for sale. Originally, he thought he could sell at most 200 low-level soul stones, but he actually sold 350 low-level soul stones, which was beyond his expectation. Thank you very much, classmate Zhao Li. However, Yi Hao quickly guessed the reason why it could be sold at such a high price, and Zhao Li's operation must be indispensable. The fact was just as he imagined. As a rich woman, Zhao Li directly purchased the Black Panther and the monkey and gave him a high price. It's okay, it's all what I should do. Seeing Yi Hao replying to the message instantly, Zhao Li, who was lying on the bed, jumped up excitedly and replied quickly. Afterwards, Yi Hao started chatting with Zhao Li. Seeing this scene, Mother Yi quietly moved her body and glanced at Yi Hao's mobile phone. Mom, you have to respect my privacy. Yi Hao turned off the phone with a dissatisfied look on his face, and then gently pushed his mother away. Xiao Hao, if you can talk about it, you can bring that girl back. Mom, I won't object. After all, when you were your age, your dad and I were already together. Mother Yi smiled softly. His eyes were full of gossip. Okay, I'm going back to my room. Yi Hao really couldn't resist his mother's eyes and directly chose to run away. And he really has no idea of talking about it, at least not yet. Looking at Yi Hao's back, Yi's mother shook her head helplessly. Why did this child run away? In the early morning, the alarm clock rang, pulling Yi Hao out of his sleep. You can sign in again. Yi Hao's eyes suddenly lit up as he looked at the innate ability in his body that had returned to normal state again, and his original sleepiness instantly dissipated a little. Then he muttered silently, sign in. Sign in successfully, congratulations on getting skill point times 1. Skill points. You can increase the proficiency of martial arts and exercises by 1 level. It's becoming more and more like a system. Yi Hao looked at his innate ability that had become stronger again, but there was a hint of weirdness on his face. Why did he feel that his innate ability was becoming more and more like a golden finger wrapped in the skin of the system? But he didn't think much about it. After all, this talent was his, and the more perverted the better at that time. I just don't know what to improve. Yi Hao looked at the skill points he had just obtained. Before entering university, the exercises they learned were only the most basic ones, and even if they were improved, they would not be of much use, because once they entered university, they would choose better exercises and transfer to other classes. Therefore, the idea of improving one's skills was immediately rejected by Yi Hao. Then, there is only Teizu Chengquan that can enhance the realm of Zochin. Yi Hao looked at the only martial art he had practiced and murmured. Martial arts are divided into 9 levels, from level 1 to level 9, with level 1 being the lowest and level 9 being the highest. According to the level of proficiency, there are 5 realms: beginner, Xiaocheng, proficient, Dacheng and Zochin. But beyond Zochin, there are other realms. That's the artistic conception. However, this is the realm of genius, far beyond what Yi Hao could touch before. However, Yi Hao, who now has skill points, can possess this kind of power. Improve Teizu Chengquan. Thinking of this, Yi Hao directly chose promotion. Successfully adding points, the state of Teizu Chengquan has been upgraded from Zochin to the artistic conception elementary level. As artistic conception also divided into high and low levels. Looking at the prompt behind the message, Yi Hao murmured. The next second, he felt an inexplicable feeling in his body. After he used Teizu Chengquan, a vague figure actually appeared behind him, between reality and illusion, and even launched attacks along with his actions. Is this the artistic conception? Yi Hao also noticed the blurry figure behind him, and a hint of excitement flashed in his eyes. He could feel that with the blessing of artistic conception, his combat power had increased several times. Now, even if he is a 5th level warrior, he may not be able to catch one of his moves. This is the horror of artistic conception. The artistic conception is difficult, but once you step into it, it's a different world. Taezu Chengquan, which had reached its bottleneck long ago, now had a way forward again. With excitement, Yi Hao entered his dream again. When he got up the next day and came to the living room, he found that there was an extra person in the house. Seeing Zhang Sa sitting on the sofa, Yi Hao walked over and asked curiously, "Why did you come to my house so early?" Zhang Sa chuckled and said, "Of course it's a good thing." "Oh, tell me." Yi Hao looked at Zhang Sa's expression and became interested. "Guess what I encountered in the secret realm yesterday?" Zhang Sa said mysteriously. "Okay, stop being so pretentious." Yi Hao said helplessly. "This time after I entered the secret realm, I appeared directly in the Gobi. Then I got lost while walking. You don't know, but I almost starved to death in there." As Zhang Sa spoke, he lamented his hardships and sighed. Seeing this scene, Yi Hao couldn't help but remind him, "You'd better get down to business. In the secret realm, it is impossible to starve to death, so if a person stays in a low-level secret realm for at most one day, starving to death is too exaggerated. Hey, when I was looking for food, I accidentally discovered a magic circle. Through this magic circle, I actually traveled directly to the center of the forest. It was exactly the same as the map given by the school. It was a lake. I didn't see the guardian monster." After Zhang Sa finished speaking, there was excitement on his face. "Did you see that lake?" Yi Hao did not expect that Zhang Sa was so lucky that he actually entered the central area of the forest. The school has already completed its exploration of the primary secret realm, and all restricted areas have been marked. Among them, the central lake is also marked as a restricted area. There lives a powerful silver python inside, which is said to have reached the 2nd level of peak realm. If it weren't for the upper limit of the secret realm, the opponent would have already broken through to the 3rd level. This silver python's talent is extremely powerful, but it's a pity that it was born in a primary secret realm. "Did you see that tree too?" Yi Hao looked at Zhang Sa. "I saw it. There are at least 10 fruits on it." Zhang Sa smiled. However, Yi Hao soon frowned. Although the existence of the 3rd-grade heavenly material and earthly treasure, the earth core tree had been confirmed, the 2nd-order peak silver python was not something that the two of them could deal with. Even if he had the artistic conception, he didn't have the courage to go beyond a big realm to deal with the silver python. Thinking of this, Yi Hao worried, what to do with that silver python? Zhang Sa smiled and said, "You can't beat him, but we can give him medicine." "Dose medicine." Yi Hao became interested. "Yes, there is a mystic pill in my father's safe, which is of the upper level of the 3rd level. As long as the silver python swallows it, it will at least make the other party comatose for 3 days and 3 nights. Then the earth fruit will be all ours." Zhang Sa said. After hearing the other party's plan, Yi Hao nodded, "Just do what you said." In the elementary secret realm, several restricted areas marked by the school have their own owners and unique treasures. Although the earth core fruit is ranked 3rd grade, it has a special effect, which is to advance talents below the extraordinary level. It can be said to be a rare treasure. 2nd level peak monsters like silver python are the top existences in the primary secret realm, so the central lake is the entire opponent's territory. Apart from it, no other monsters dared to enter, which also gave Yi Hao and the others a chance. All they needed to do was stun the silver python. "Okay, then when the cooling time of the secret realm is up, we will go in." Zhang Sa nodded. Yi Hao said, "Okay. Xiao Sa, have you had breakfast? Do you want to have some at Auntie's place?" Mother Yi came to the living room with the prepared breakfast and smiled at Zhang Sa. Zhang Sa shook his head. "Auntie, I've eaten it, no need." "That's okay." Mother Yi didn't say much and looked at Yi Hao. "Xiao Hao, then you can eat alone." Yi Hao nodded. "Okay. Auntie, I'm going back first." Looking at Yi Hao who was eating delicious food, Zhang Sa swallowed quietly, but thinking that he had just rejected his aunt's proposal, he was too embarrassed to speak, so he could only say, "Why don't you play a little longer?" Yi Mu poked her head out of the kitchen. "Auntie, I have something to do at home, so I won't stay any longer." After saying that, Zhang Sa was ready to leave. "This kid, why do you feel weird today?" Mother Yi muttered in a low voice. After all, Jong-sa usually stays for a whole day when he comes. Maybe something really happened. Yi Hao heard his mother's mutterings, and then thought about Jong-sa's father's safe that was going to be in trouble, and he couldn't help but have a weird look on his face. A third-grade elixir would cost at least 5 figures. But compared to the third-grade heavenly materials and earthly treasures, the third-grade elixirs are just like that. Ding dong. Just as Yi Hao was eating breakfast, the doorbell rang again. Mother Yi, who was close, looked up at Yi Hao, patted the water on her hands, and walked towards the door. Hey, girl, who are you? Yi Mu originally thought that Jong-sa, who had just left, had forgotten to bring something, so she came back to get it, only to find a pretty girl standing at the door. Wearing a white dress, white shoes, and her fair skin, she looks like the little sister next door. Auntie, I'm here to see Yi Hao. Being looked at like this, especially by Yi Hao's mother, Zhao Li's snow-white cheeks gained a hint of rosiness and she quickly explained. Oh, come in first, Yi Hao is having breakfast in the living room. When she heard that the other party was here to find her son, Mother Yi's eyes lit up and she quickly stepped aside and let the other party in. After seeing Zhao Li's appearance and figure, she was very satisfied. Now it seems that her son still has good taste, but he doesn't know whose baby girl the baby girl in front of him belongs to. This was probably the person my son was chatting with yesterday. Zhao Li, why are you here? When Zhao Li appeared in front of him in a white dress, Yi Hao was also a little confused. You two chat, Mom is going to buy groceries. Mother Yi winked at Yi Hao, and then found a lame excuse to open the door and leave. What, the monitor doesn't welcome me? Zhao Li curled her lips dissatisfied. In fact, this is not the first time she has come to Yi Hao's house. She has been here many times before for some reasons. Yi Hao shook his head. I'm just curious. After all, you didn't tell me in advance. By the way, what do you want from me? Yi Hao turned around and asked. Can't I come to you if I have nothing to do? Looking at the straight man in front of her, Zhao Li didn't know what to say. Hearing this, Yi Hao didn't know how to answer. Seeing Yi Hao's appearance, Zhao Li could only take the initiative and said, the junior secret realm on Louis Avenue has opened, do you want to go? Isn't that the private secret realm of the Zhao family? Yi Hao was slightly stunned. The Zhao family is one of the top families in Anhai City and owns several elementary secret realms and even intermediate secret realms. However, the secret realms they possess are not open to the public. Yes, it's mine. I just asked my dad to open it. Zhao Li said with an indifferent expression. Forehead. Yi Hao was speechless. He knew that Zhao Li was a rich woman, but he didn't expect that she was so rich. Zhao Li looked at Yi Hao's expression and couldn't help but get closer. How about it, you still have time to eat soft rice now. Let's forget it. Yi Hao politely refused again. All right. Seeing Yi Hao's refusal, Zhao Li also sighed. Then this secret realm. Yi Hao was a little embarrassed. He had just rejected the other party, and now he was still thinking about the secret place in the other party's home. Even he felt that he was a bit shameless. I'll take you there later. Zhao Li didn't think much about it. After all, she really liked Yi Hao, so it didn't matter if she let him in. Will your father allow me to go in? Yi Hao suddenly thought of something. After all, this is someone else's private secret realm. My dad has agreed. Zhao Li thought of something and her face turned red. After she bought Yi Hao's Black Panther and Monkey at a high price, the guys in the company reported it to her father. After giving her a good talk, she also learned about Yi Hao's existence. However, her father, who originally disagreed with Zhao Li's pursuit of Yi Hao, suddenly changed his expression after visiting the ancestral temple. Let her catch up with Yi Hao no matter what. She also offered to let her take Yi Hao to experience in the secret realm. You know, the secret realm in their family has never been entered by outsiders. That's fine. Yi Hao heard Zhao Li say that her father had agreed, so he could only reply like this. Looking at Yi Hao in a daze, Zhao Li raised the corners of her mouth slightly, and then said, let's go then. Yes. Yi Hao looked at the time, and it happened that there was still half a day before the next time he entered the school's junior secret realm. This was just the right time to go to Zhao Li's secret realm. Afterwards, Yi Hao and Yi Mu briefly explained the general situation and then followed Zhao Li away. As soon as they walked downstairs, a black Bentley drove towards them and slowly stopped in front of them. Then, a middle-aged man walked out quickly, bent down, and opened the car door in front of Zhao Li. This scene also made Yi Hao curious. Okay, come in. Zhao Li pulled Yi Hao and got into the car. Is this the student that the master was talking about? As Zhao Li's personal driver, he is also responsible for protecting her. As a martial artist, he naturally discovered the martial artist realm of Yi Hao, but he found that Yi Hao had a special aura on his body. He only felt this aura from those few people. This really shocked him. You must know that those few are powerful beings who have entered the realm of masters for decades. But today, he actually felt this kind of aura in a young man under 20 years old. No wonder, the master asked himself to observe the young man in front of him more, maybe that was the reason. Uncle Zhao, go to the elementary secret realm on Louis Avenue. After getting in the car, Zhao Li looked at Yi Hao on the side and quietly moved her body closer, just enough to be close but not so annoying to the other party. After seeing that Yi Hao had no objection, she smiled and said to Uncle Zhao in front of her. Okay ma'am. After hearing the instructions, Uncle Zhao nodded and started the car. Zhao Li, is there anything I should pay attention to when I go to your home's primary secret realm? Seeing Zhao Li's body getting closer and closer, Yi Hao felt that he was a little overwhelmed and could only find a topic. The primary secret realm in Louis Square is full of mountains. There is nothing to pay attention to. Inside, there are teleportation devices every 1 kilometer. Even after entering, we were teleported to other places. It can also be assembled in a short time. Zhao Li explained. The Zhao family has mastered this elementary secret realm for hundreds of years, and has long since built this secret realm into their own back garden. The children of their family are practicing there, and they are even more powerful than a tiger. Other big families in Anhai City also did the same. With the blessing of inexhaustible resources, the growth rate of the children of aristocratic families will completely crush those of ordinary families. This is also the reason why big families like theirs can last for hundreds of years unless they encounter some genocide. Miss, there seems to be something wrong with the central mountain range. After entering this time, we'd better avoid there. Uncle Zhao suddenly thought of what the head of the family had said before, so he spoke. That guy, did you start again? Zhao Li's face looked a little ugly. Can you tell me? Yi Hao became interested. Zhao Li nodded. It's not an important secret. It doesn't matter if I tell you the monitor. After briefly sorting out her thoughts, she spoke again. Similar to the restricted area of the junior secret realm in school, this junior secret realm also has a similar existence. The central mountain range is ruled by a group of red fire ants, and their queen is a second-order peak existence. The most terrifying thing is the reproductive ability of this queen ant. It only takes one night to produce thousands of insect eggs. Under sufficient resources, these eggs can be converted into combat power in a short period of time. If it is not controlled, under the terrifying numerical suppression, no group in this secret realm will be the opponent of the red fire ant group. At that time, other groups will definitely unite together in order to survive and launch a beast tide to fight against the red fire ant colony. No matter which side wins or loses, it will be a huge blow to the entire secret realm. It is also a huge loss to our Zhao family. Therefore, in order to prevent the red fire ant colony from increasing in number, our family will regularly clean up the red fire ant colony. I just don't know what's going on, but the number of red fire ant colony riots has increased recently. Quote. Then why not solve this problem directly from the source? Yi Hao asked curiously. He also guessed that this red fire ant queen might have some great use. Otherwise, with the strength of the Zhao family, I am afraid that the opponent would have been eliminated long ago. Zhao Li was silent for a while, and then said, actually, this is not a big secret. The corpse of red fire ants is a kind of material that can be used to create a special magic weapon, so it is very popular in the market, is also one of the sources of income for our family, so we have never thought of killing the queen ant. In fact, this queen ant grew up smoothly under the secret manipulation of our family. I guessed it too. Yi Hao nodded. In this case, it doesn't make sense. In an era when profit outweighs all else, the existence of the red fire ant queen becomes reasonable. After all, the rewards given to the Zhao family by the other party far outweigh the costs. Moreover, under the suppression of the primary secret realm, the red fire ant queen will never be able to break through to the third level. This is the greatest guarantee and the reason why the Zhao family can sit firmly on the Daoyutai. Miss, we're here. Under the driving of the experienced driver, Yi Hao and the two arrived at their destination without even noticing how long it had taken. After getting off the car, Zhao Li took Yi Hao into a small courtyard. After the secret whistle at the door discovered that it was his own lady, he did not show up and allowed them to go in. After entering the courtyard, there is a cobblestone path. Following the path, they soon arrived at the inner courtyard. In the center of the inner courtyard is a mysterious portal that opens. The gray mist filled the whole yard, giving it a feeling of fairy mist. However, just after entering the inner courtyard, Yi Hao once again felt a few eyes scanning towards him. However, after just a few glances, those eyes quickly moved away. The defense is so tight. Yi Hao could feel that among these glances, none of them were lower than a senior martial artist. Even one of the powerful auras that he could not see clearly was probably a true Grand Master. With these powerful warriors guarding it, it would be extremely difficult for outsiders to enter. Zhao Li, why did you bring outsiders in? Just when Zhao Li was about to take Yi Hao into the secret realm, a cold voice sounded. Chapter 11. The visitor was wearing a close-fitting black leather jacket with a hot figure, and the tight leather jacket perfectly outlined her hot figure. However, the other party was very young, with fair skin and a chubby face. She looked like a porcelain doll, which was completely inconsistent with her clothes. Zhao Xiaoyu, I told the head of the family and he has agreed. Zhao Li said, who doesn't know that the head of the family is your father? Do the elders know that you brought outsiders in? This is against the rules of the family. If the elders find out, you won't be able to live with it. Zhao Xiaoyu looked at Yi Hao. The Zhao family is not the head of the family. How could an outsider casually enter the secret realm of their Zhao family? It was the private property of their Zhao family. Even the head of the family does not have this right. Unexpectedly, when the elder was mentioned, Zhao Li's face did not show the expression that Zhao Xiaoyu wanted to see, but instead became even more proud. Zhao Li said very proudly, I'm so sorry, not only did my dad agree, but your dad also agreed. After saying that, he pulled Yi Hao into the mysterious portal without looking back. How is this possible? After hearing that her father agreed, Zhao Xiaoyu's first reaction was that it was impossible. In the Zhao family, there are 7 elders, divided into 2 factions. The 2 leaders are Zhao Li's father, the head of the family. The second one is her Zhao Xiaoyu's father, the eldest elder of the Zhao family. In other words, as long as these 2 people agree, it means that all the elders have agreed to this outsider entering the secret realm. What the hell is going on? By now, Zhao Xiaoyu had developed a strong interest in Feng Yi Hao, an outsider. Immediately, without any hesitation, she entered the secret realm. As expected, they still haven't been teleported together. Yi Hao sighed softly when he saw that Zhao Li did not appear next to him. Fortunately, before entering, Zhao Li told them where to gather at the teleportation array, so that as long as he found the nearest teleportation array, he would be able to find the other party. Quote. Just when Yi Hao was about to leave, he noticed a familiar presence not far away. When he walked over and took a look, he found that the other person was Zhao Xiaoyu, who had just quarreled with Zhao Li. After seeing it was the other person, he turned around and left. Hey, boy, wait a minute. Seeing Yi Hao turning around and walking away, Zhao Xiaoyu chased after him dissatisfied. Looking at Zhao Xiaoyu standing in front of him, Yi Hao frowned and took a few steps back. What's the matter? Are you Zhao Li's mistress? Zhao Xiaoyu frowned and looked Yi Hao up and down, wondering why the young man in front of her could get everyone's elders to agree, even her father among them. It's really weird, considering that her father and Zhao Li's father are naturally at odds with each other. How is it possible to unify the pace on this kind of thing? Zhao Li and I are classmates and have no other relationship. If there is nothing else, don't get in my way. I have other things. Hearing something was wrong in the other party's tone, Yi Hao didn't give him any good temper. After speaking, he turned away and walked towards the nearest teleportation array according to the identification method given by Zhao Li earlier. Who are you lying to? If you weren't that guy Zhao Li's mistress, the head of the family would have let you in. When Zhao Xiaoyu heard that the other party was just Zhao Li's classmate, Zhao Xiaoyu didn't believe it and immediately chased after him. You can just ask classmate Zhao Li's father about this. Ask me and I don't know. Seeing Zhao Xiaoyu blocking him again, Yi Hao frowned. This was the truth, and he really didn't know why the other party would allow him, an outsider, to enter the secret realm. You. Zhao Xiaoyu raised her finger and pointed at Yi Hao, but she didn't know what to say next. Careful. Just when Yi Hao was about to leave, he sensed danger and directly pulled Zhao Xiaoyu in front of him behind him. After the black shadow in front of him jumped into the air, he instantly retreated and stared at the two humans in front of him from a distance. It was a green monster that looked very much like the legendary goblin. Its eyes were full of lust and evil, and it was very dissatisfied with Yi Hao's actions just now. However, it could feel that the humans in front of it seemed to be untouchable and did not dare to take the initiative to attack. It's the green orc. After seeing clearly that it was the guy in front of her who was attacking her, Zhao Xiaoli's face turned pale. If it weren't for Yi Hao, she would have been in trouble this time. Green orcs, when they reach adulthood, are first-order monsters. They have human form and therefore have intelligence that is not weaker than that of humans. The most important thing is that green orcs are naturally evil and like to abuse human women. In the wild, green orcs often abduct human women, and everyone shouts about them. Wait a minute, how come a green orc appears in our family's secret realm? After the nervousness disappeared, Zhao Xiaoyu discovered a very important thing, that is, there was no such race as green orcs in their family's primary secret realm. So where did the green orc in front of me come from? Yi Hao heard what Zhao Xiaoyu meant and frowned. You mean, this is an alien species? Is there a new secret realm that has been refreshed in this secret realm? Zhao Xiaoyu's face turned pale as she thought of the biggest possibility. Mysterious portals will also be refreshed in other secret realms. After the two secret realms are connected, creatures from the other secret realm will naturally appear in this secret realm. But what if the level of another secret realm is higher than this primary secret realm? Under the huge energy infusion, the primary secret realm has a certain chance of breaking the upper limit. This is not a good thing for the Zhao family. Because in this secret realm, there is a colony of red fire ants. Once the primary secret realm breaks through to the intermediate secret realm, the level of the red fire ant queen will be raised to the 3rd level or even the 4th level in a short time. The red fire ant colony will not be so easy to suppress. Go out first and report what happened here to your family and let them handle it. Yi Hao said, this is the best solution. That guy doesn't seem to want us to leave. Zhao Xiaoyu felt a sinister look staring at her. Even if she moved casually, the other person's eyes would follow her instantly, making her very uncomfortable. It's okay, just kill him. Yi Hao smiled softly. This green beast man looked very much like a certain kind of creature and had a similar nature. It was very unpleasant and had long been put on his death list. This green orc seems to have reached adulthood. Can you deal with it? If not, I will send out flares. When the surrounding family guards arrive, we will be safe. Zhao Xiaoyu looked at Yi Hao. It's okay, I can handle it. Yi Hao shook his head. He could sense that the green orc's aura was not very strong, and he could be considered the lowest among warriors. Quote. The green orc could feel that the human in front of him had a strong murderous intention towards him, and subconsciously took a few steps back. Because it can sense that the young man in front of it is very powerful. This is an advanced perception of threat from the beast. It seems to be scared. Seeing this scene, Zhao Xiaoyu couldn't help but cover her mouth, her eyes filled with disbelief. She didn't expect that the monster in front of her had the idea of escape before the man in front of her made a move. However, as soon as she thought that the young man in front of her was the mistress of that guy Zhao Li, she instantly felt unhappy. At this time, Yi Hao didn't notice that the face of the girl behind him was constantly changing. His attention was always on the green orc in front of him. When he saw that the guy in front of him had the idea of escape, he did not let go. He ignored the opponent's thoughts and rushed directly towards the place. Teizu Chengquan. The moment he got closer, Yi Hao directly used his strongest method. A blurry figure appeared behind him, and the terrifying aura was like a substance, pressing directly towards the green orc in front of him. At this time, the green orc felt that a big mountain was pressing down on him, and he seemed to be frozen by something, unable to move at all. He could only watch helplessly as the opponent's fist hit his chest. Puff! With the blessing of the artistic conception, Yi Hao's attack possessed terrifying power. Even a physical monster could not withstand this attack. The green orc's chest was instantly penetrated, leaving a bright hole. Instant kill. Seeing the green orc who was instantly killed, Zhao Xiaoyu couldn't help but cover her mouth. She didn't expect Yi Hao to kill the other party so easily. Although the opponent is at the bottom among the first-order monsters, it is also a first-order monster. I didn't expect you to become a warrior. Zhao Xiaoyu couldn't help but said. What? Logically speaking, with the resources of your Zhao family, it is not difficult to become a warrior. Yi Hao took out a bottle of water, cleaned his right hand, and then looked at Zhao Xiaoyu. With the size of the Zhao family, they have several low-level secret realms and intermediate secret realms. Cultivating a few young geniuses should be a piece of cake. It is indeed not difficult, but before the talent is awakened, the family will not invest too many resources. Even after awakening, resources of the corresponding level will be allocated according to the awakened talent level. Therefore, after awakening the talent, it is the real time for us, the children of the family, to exert our strength. It was like I had awakened my advanced talent and received third-level resource allocation. In just 2 days, I had 6 points of energy and blood. In a few days, I would be able to become a warrior. Quote. Zhao Xiaoyu looked at Yi Hao and explained patiently. From Yi Hao's question, she could tell that the other party was not from a big family. The most important thing is that the children of those big families will not lack secret realms at home. Obviously, Yi Hao is from an ordinary family. By the way, your awakening won't be a super talent, right? Suddenly, remembering the attitude of the head of the Zhao family and his father towards Yi Hao, Zhao Xiaoyu had a bold idea in her heart. That is because Yi Hao's awakened talent is extraordinary, otherwise how could the family owner and others let the other party in? Yi Hao shook his head. No. Could it be an extraordinary talent? Zhao Li mistakenly thought that Yi Hao had awakened a more advanced talent, and opened her mouth in surprise. Yi Hao looked at Zhao Xiaoyu's expectant eyes, but said helplessly, my awakened low-level talent. Although his talent is very powerful, he is indeed a low-level talent. How is this possible? Although she didn't understand the method Yi Hao used to kill the green orc just now, and she didn't know what the artistic conception was, she had also practiced the Teizu Chong fist that the opponent just used, and the blurry figure behind it definitely did not possess a low-level talent. The reader can use it. Therefore, she seriously suspected that the guy in front of her was playing tricks on her and not telling the truth. Seeing that the other party didn't believe it, Yi Hao could only spread his hands helplessly. I have really awakened my elementary talent. If you don't believe it, there is nothing I can do. Ha! Zhao Xiaoyu had already concluded that the guy in front of her was teasing her, and could only sigh in dissatisfaction. However, there was nothing she could do about the other party. After all, they were not familiar with each other. Yi Hao could explain that he was already looking at Zhao Li. Save face. You go and explain to the head of the Zhao family now, I'm going to find classmate Zhao Li. After saying that, Yi Hao ignored the green orcs on the ground and walked towards the teleportation array. The most important inner elixir in this guy's body has been taken away by himself. He was not interested in the body left behind. Not many humans are interested in this kind of green orc, so they usually take the inner elixir and throw it away. Just leave. Seeing Yi Hao running so fast, Zhao Xiaoyu was furious and kicked the small tree on the side with her little feet, causing the unlucky little tree to suffer an unreasonable disaster. After seeing that Yi Hao had disappeared from sight, she also walked forward and took the green orc's body back into the space ring. With this body, she would have evidence when she explained later. Thinking of this, she directly excited the mark in her body, and disappeared in the next second. Squad leader, why are you here so slowly? Zhao Li leaned helplessly on the tree trunk nearby, gently kicking the branches on the ground with her little feet. When she saw Yi Hao's figure appeared, she quickly ran over. Have you met Zhao Xiaoyu? After getting closer, Zhao Li actually smelled Zhao Xiaoyu's scent from Yi Hao's body. Moreover, the two people must have had close contact just now, otherwise Yi Hao would not have such a strong fragrance on his body. Forehead. Yi Hao did not expect that the other party's nose was so sharp, and he immediately told the other party what had just happened. Green orc, squad leader, have you become a warrior? Zhao Li's eyes widened when she heard that Yi Hao had killed the green orc. Would you like to talk to your father too? After all, secret realm invasion is not a trivial matter. Yi Hao suggested. Zhao Li shook her head indifferently. As long as Zhao Xiaoyu is here, she will say it. What happens next is none of our business. All right, Yi Hao nodded. Let's go find the colorful flowers. Zhao Li glanced at Yi Hao and said, is there 7 color flowers in this secret realm? Yi Hao was stunned. 7 color flowers are a natural treasure. It has only one effect, and that is the effect of strengthening talents. It's a pity that the 7 color flower only has the strengthening effect after taking it for the first time, and the effect is not as good as imagined. But it is precisely because of this that it ranks first. Yes, quite a lot. Zhao Li nodded indifferently. Okay, let's go find the colorful flowers. Yi Hao said. He was also curious whether his 2 talents would be strengthened to a certain extent after taking the 7 color flower. If the squad leader hadn't just killed that first order green orc, I wouldn't have dared to take you, squad leader, to get the 7 color flower. The guardian of the 7 color flower happens to be a mid-level first order white jade snake. The squad leader should have dealt with it. Bar. After finishing speaking, Zhao Li looked at Yi Hao expectantly. There are a lot of good things in the family's secret realm, but you can only get them with your own strength. Not being able to ask for help from the elders in the family is a kind of experience for the children of the family. I can handle the middle stage of the first order. Yi Hao Dao. A mid-level first order monster is equivalent to the strength of a human warrior at the 6th level, and with his artistic conception, his combat power is equivalent to a 7th or 8th level warrior. He can still deal with the mid-level first order monster. Looking at Yi Hao, who was so confident, Zhao Li chose to believe him and nodded immediately. Then wait a moment, it all depends on the squad leader. Leave it to me, Yi Hao said. Then, under the leadership of Zhao Li, the 2 of them walked towards the depths of the mountains, surrounded by towering giant trees and dense green bushes, exuding a touch of moisture. Not long after, Zhao Li stopped. She gently pushed aside the grass in front of her and got in, followed closely by Yi Hao. At the back door of the grass is a medium-sized lawn, with flowers of various colors growing in the center. But Yi Hao just scanned lightly and found the 7 color flowers among these flowers. However, Yi Hao did not walk over directly because he had not found the white jade snake guarding the 7 color flower. The white jade snake is not here. Zhao Li carefully looked at the 7 color flowers in front of her, and looked at everything around her with a trace of curiosity, but also did not notice the existence of the white jade snake. It's a bit strange indeed. Only then did Yi Hao realize that something was not right. If the white jade snake was still here, its aura should be flowing. But now, except for the auras of Yi Hao and Zhao Li, there was no other aura present. This unusual scene really puzzled him. I'm going to get the 7 color flowers. There was no sign of the white jade snake for a long time. Yi Hao frowned, then walked directly in the direction of the 7 color flowers, and easily took down 3 7 color flowers. For you. After giving one of the 7 color flowers to Zhao Li, he put the remaining 2 7 color flowers into his backpack. How strange. Looking at the 7 color flower in her hand, Zhao Li muttered, and then put the 7 color flower back into the space ring. At the beginning, she and her peers in the family wanted to take advantage of the 7 colored flower, but they were chased for more than 10 miles by the white jade snake, and several of their friends were bitten by it. Now, getting the 7 color flower was so simple that it made her feel unreal. There are breath fluctuations ahead. Yi Hao suddenly raised his head and looked somewhere. In that direction, there were hundreds of weak auras, as if they were fighting. Go and have a look. Zhao Li became interested instantly. Then go take a look. Yi Hao nodded. Then he took Zhao Li and walked in this direction. When they got closer, they saw a terrifying scene. The land ahead seemed to have been burned. The dense undergrowth has long since disappeared. Only half of those giant trees were burned, exuding a pungent smell. Giant ants, each about the size of a fist and covered in fiery red, were attacking a giant thing in front of them. It's a 2nd-level monster. After seeing clearly that the target of these red fire ants was a 2nd-level monster, Zhao Li was so frightened that she took a few steps back. Yi Hao also stopped instantly, not daring to get closer. The 2nd-level monster is definitely not something he can challenge beyond the current level. It's a giant tusked pig. Yi Hao looked at the monster not far away and quickly recognized its type. A powerful second-level monster, the giant tusked pig. Born with huge teeth, it can easily penetrate steel. Coupled with the resin and soil covering its whole body, monsters below level 3 can basically not break through the opponent's defense. How come these red fire ants are here? It's so strange. As a child of the Zhao family, Zhao Li was suspicious of the red fire ants that appeared now. You must know that the living range of red fire ants has been restricted to the central mountains by their family master. And this place is hundreds of thousands of miles away from the central mountains. The red fire ants appearing here are really weird. Moreover, it was also the first time that she discovered the existence of giant tusked pigs in the secret realm. Could it be that there is more than one entrance to this secret realm? Yi Hao looked at Zhao Li and came up with a terrifying idea. Logically speaking, there is only one entrance and exit to the secret world, but this is only for the primary secret realm. The more advanced the secret realm, the more entrances and exits there are. If it is really confirmed that the secret realm is a high-level secret realm, then the upgrade of this secret realm is a sure thing. With such a big matter, the Zhao family may not be able to protect it. There will definitely be more powerful beings involved by then. The existence of a suspected high-level secret realm can definitely attract the attention of the above. After listening to Yi Hao's analysis, Zhao Li's face became ugly because she also felt that what Yi Hao said made sense. Dang even said, "Otherwise, let's exit first," etc. Just when Yi Hao was about to leave quietly with Zhao Li, he discovered a surprising scene. The white jade snake from before actually appeared in the distance. In addition, 4 or 5 first-order monsters appeared. At this moment, they actually united together and launched an attack on the giant tusked pig. It's quite united. Looking at the scene happening in front of him, Yi Hao sighed. Something's not right. There's something wrong with this giant tusked pig. At this time, Zhao Lijing calmed down and discovered something was not right. The giant tusked pig in front of him seems to have not reached the second-level combat strength. Otherwise, the red fire ants in front of him would not be able to harm the opponent even if they self-destruct. But now, the giant tusked pig is suppressed. Is it possible that this giant tusked pig is here? Yi Hao looked at the giant tusked pig with a strange look on his face. At this time, he also discovered that something was wrong with the giant tusked pig. Every time the opponent attacked, he subconsciously protected his belly. It should be there. Zhao Li looked strange. That's quite clear. When the monster beast is pregnant, most of the energy in the body is used to support the child in the body, resulting in a significant decline in strength. At this time, the true combat power of the giant tusked pig is estimated to be only equivalent to the peak of the first level. No wonder these red fire ants were able to stop each other. However, even so, the red fire ants paid a heavy price. Everything that was burned should be caused by the self-explosion of these red fire ants. Of course, their self-destruction also successfully attracted other first-order monsters. These first-order monsters already possess intelligence that is no weaker than that of 7 or 8-year-old human children. After discovering that the giant tusked pig had been protecting its belly, they also discovered the opponent's weakness and attacked its lower body crazily. There were even guys without martial arts ethics who wanted to break through from behind, making the giant tusked pig unable to resist and retreating crazily. Seeing this scene, Yi Hao already knew the opponent's outcome. This giant tusked pig can't hold on any longer. Well, monitor, let's go first. Zhao Li looked at the battle that was about to end and felt that something bad was about to happen, so she quickly warned. Let's go. Yi Hao really wanted the giant tusk of the giant tusked pig, which was the most precious treasure on the opponent's body. He could just add some materials to create a second-grade weapon. Unfortunately, with his current strength, it was basically impossible to create a second-grade weapon. These guys get those giant teeth on their hands. The only choice is to give up. Yi Hao, that white jade snake is coming towards us. Suddenly, Zhao Li was horrified to find that the white jade snake, which was as white as jade, actually gave up on the giant tusked pig and rushed directly towards the two of them. It was as fast as a white horse passing by. Back off. Yi Hao knew that it was the 7-color flower in his arms that angered the other party. After all, it was the other party's protected thing. If the thing he protected was taken away, he would be so furious. He directly pushed Zhao Li aside and took the initiative to greet her. Chongzakwan. Yi Hao held his fists at his waist, and then punched forward from his waist. The force reached the fist surface and was higher than shoulder level, with an invincible momentum. At the same time, a wave appeared behind him. The blurry figure synchronized with his movements. This is the first form of Teizu Changquan. With the blessing of artistic conception, it has the power to turn decay into magic. The white jade snake felt a fatal threat and stopped attacking. Its slippery body instantly wrapped around the trees on the side, and then spit out the letter. There was a trace of doubt in the eyes on the head of the triangular snake. It didn't quite understand that the young man in front of it seemed vulnerable before, but now it didn't know why it felt fatally threatened. If it had continued to attack just now, I'm afraid it would have died in the opponent's hands. So cowardly. Yi Hao and the white jade snake looked at each other, then withdrew his right fist and frowned deeply. If the opponent doesn't take the initiative to attack, it's really difficult for him to deal with him. At present, he has not practiced any martial arts skills such as body movements, so he cannot catch up with the white jade snake, which is famous for its speed. The attack just now was unsuccessful, and now it is impossible to kill the opponent. The white jade snake hovering on the tree trunk stared fixedly at the young man in front of it. After realizing that it was not its opponent, it thought for a moment and then rushed in the direction of the giant tusked pig. Although the 7-color flower is important, compared with one's own life, it seems insufficient. It's better to just give up and choose to hunt giant tusked pigs, so that you can get more flesh and blood. Seeing the white jade snake retreating, Zhao Li looked at Yi Hao with stars in her eyes. Squad leader, the white jade snake was actually scared away by you. You are so fierce. Yi Hao smiled and said, General. At this time, he also discovered how terrifying the artistic conception he obtained this time was, which directly raised his combat effectiveness to a large level. Yi Hao, let's go. Zhao Li looked at the battle ahead that was about to end and couldn't help but remind him. Although the white jade snake has retreated, who can guarantee that the opponent does not have 1 or 2 monster friends? When the battle is over, several first-order monsters rush over, and they will not be able to resist it. Let's go. Yi Hao looked at the giant tusked pig that was about to fall, with a trace of pity on his face, but he knew his own strength, and now he was not qualified to participate in this battle. However, I will be qualified soon. Yi Hao looked at his signing talent. In just 3 days, his combat effectiveness had increased several times. I believe that it won't be long before he can jump up the ranks and fight. Squad leader, I'm going to find my father. I'll ask Uncle Zhao to take you back. After walking out of the secret realm, Zhao Li looked at Yi Hao and said, No, I just went to Louis Square to buy something. Yi Hao thought about the battle with the white jade snake just now. If he had possessed a physical and martial skill just now, the white jade snake would have been in his possession. A first-level monster, and a white jade snake known for its appearance, could sell at least several thousand low-level soul stones. He has already missed thousands of low-level soul stones, and he will not miss it next time. Okay, see you tomorrow then. Zhao Li nodded. Goodbye. After saying that, Yi Hao walked towards the door. Zhao Li also picked up her cell phone and called her father. Louis Avenue is a very famous tourist attraction in Anhai City, with tens of millions of tourists visiting it every year. The Zhao family is able to obtain the ownership of a low-level secret realm in this place, which makes them worthy of being one of the 4 major families in Anhai City. Wanji Shopping Mall, a powerful chamber of commerce that has gone to all the secret worlds. On Louis Avenue, it naturally has its branches. This is also the purpose of Yi Hao's trip. Welcome. As soon as I entered Wanji Shopping Mall, the receptionist at the door quickly bowed respectfully. I have to say that it is worthy of being a Wanji Shopping Mall. These ladies who welcome guests are all powerful warriors, with good energy and blood in their bodies. Moreover, they all have pretty looks and plump bodies. They are all existences with a score of no less than 80 in the outside world. This gave Yi Hao, who had just entered, a great sense of satisfaction and the urge to consume. I remember that martial arts skills are on the 3rd floor. Yi Hao recalled the previous memories and murmured. Then he walked to the elevator and prepared to go to the 3rd floor. The Wanji Mall occupies an exclusive area on Louis Avenue, which includes martial arts, exercises, weapons, elixirs, formations, etc. Everything a warrior needs can be found there. And this is also his first time here. Soon, Yi Hao found his target, a shop that specialized in selling low-level martial arts. "Hello, sir, is there anything you want to buy?" As soon as Yi Hao stepped into the mountain martial arts pavilion, a man in straight clothes came up to him. His attitude was very gentle and he did not show any lightness at all because of Yi Hao's simple clothes. A young warrior with strong energy and blood is a potential stock no matter what. Even if Yi Hao just came to take a look and didn't buy anything, it would still be good to leave a good deed. "Hello, do you have any martial arts skills like body movements? First level ones will do." Yi Hao made his request directly. "Guest, all the first level movement and martial arts are on shelf No. 10. I will take you there right now." After understanding Yi Hao's request, the man nodded and took Yi Hao to shelf No. 10. "I'll take a look first and find you later." Yi Hao looked at the bookshelf full of identity martial arts and had trouble choosing. When he saw the man who was still waiting, he said embarrassedly. The man nodded. "Okay, guests, please take your time to choose. If you need anything, you can come to me at the front desk." "Are all service staff so polite now?" Looking at the man who had walked away, Yi Hao muttered softly. However, he didn't think too much about it and focused all his attention on the bookshelf in front of him. In no time, Yi Hao picked out a dozen books on body movements and martial arts that suited him. It took him a few more minutes to choose the most suitable one among the dozens of martial arts books. That's it. Looking at the martial arts skills in his hands, Yi Hao made up his mind. The first level status martial arts is estimated to be able to sustain him until he becomes a martial artist. When he reaches the martial arts realm, he will change again, and with his improvement speed, this time will not be too long. So he didn't hesitate too much. "Sir, are you sure?" Looking at Yi Hao walking over and the ancient book in his hand, a smile appeared on the man's face. "That's it." Yi Hao nodded. Soon, the man carved the complete exercise method into a USB flash drive. The ancient books on the bookshelf only contain parts of the exercises. Only after the purchase is confirmed, they will engrave it into the USB flash drive. "Sir, before the transaction, I still want to inform you in advance that this martial skill is only authorized to you. If we find that you have given this martial skill to others, we will hold you legally responsible. Sir, do you agree?" Quote. Looking at the U-disc in his hand, the smile on the man's face disappeared. He looked at the young man in front of him very seriously and said, "I agree." This is not Yi Hao's first purchase, so he naturally understands what the other party means. "Okay, sir, Chengwei gives you 1,000 low-level soul stones." After the man handed the U-disc in his hand to Yi Hao, there was a smile on his face again. Yi Hao took out his mobile phone and scanned 1,000 low-level soul stones to the other party. After seeing that his mobile phone balance was less than 3 digits, he also showed a hint of helplessness. This was the result of him asking Zhao Li to sell those 2 monsters, otherwise he wouldn't even be able to get 1,000 low-level soul stones. Fortunately, he is now a first-level warrior. 1,000 low-level soul stones, as long as you kill a few more first-level monsters, you will be back. After sending Yi Hao to the door, the man smiled and said, "Welcome to visit next time." "Isn't this Yi Hao?" Suddenly, a voice that made Yi Hao unexpected appeared in the distance. "Wang Li." Yi Hao frowned and looked at Wang Li in front of him, with a trace of disgust flashing in his eyes. When he was in school, Wang Li made trouble every day in class, and even caused a lot of trouble outside. As the squad leader, he naturally couldn't stand the existence of such a person, so he offended him a lot. Now that the opponent has awakened advanced talents, he probably wants to ride on his head and shit. "Yi Hao, are you buying exercises?" Looking at the martial arts shop behind Yi Hao and the USB flash drive in the opponent's hand, Wang Li instantly understood the opponent's purpose. Yi Hao was too lazy to pay attention to this guy and directly chose to avoid it. "Yi Hao, you don't even have a space ring, do you?" Wang Li stopped Yi Hao and gently raised his right hand. There was a white ring on it, simple and elegant. He looked at Yi Hao and deliberately touched the space ring, his eyes full of provocation. Given the other party's family conditions, he would never be able to afford this space ring. "What, sold yourself and became a dog for those aristocratic families?" Yi Hao's face was full of ridicule. As the squad leader, he naturally knew the other party's family situation clearly. Even if it was better than his family's, it wasn't much better. Now he has a space ring, and he obviously signed a contract with those aristocratic families. For those beings with ordinary backgrounds but outstanding talents, those powerful families will choose to sign contracts with them and provide them with certain resource support, but this requires a lot of effort and even the loss of a certain amount of freedom. Obviously, this was the case for the other person, so he called the other person a dog. After saying that, Yi Hao left without looking back. Yi Hao, don't let me meet you in the secret realm. Looking at Yi Hao's back, Wang Li's eyes were full of anger. Just because Yi Hao's words were too true, they reminded him of the agreements he made with those aristocratic families, but in order to go further for his own future, he had to sell everything he had. However, how could an owner of a low-level talent dare to question a genius like himself, a high-level talent? At least you, Yi Hao, are definitely not worthy. Thinking of this, he already had a strong murderous intention towards Yi Hao. If he hadn't considered the rules of Wanji shopping mall just now, he would have taken action directly. That's all, let the other person live a little longer. If Yi Hao knew Wang Li's thoughts, he would probably laugh out loud. If it weren't for Wanji Mall, it's not certain whether the other party could stand and talk to him. Not long after, Yi Hao returned to his community and came to the garden of the community, intending to practice martial arts. Just practice this body and martial arts, Yi Hao murmured. His Teizu Changquan has been cultivated to the point of artistic conception. It is more about understanding and he can practice at any time and anywhere. The top priority now is to practice the body and martial arts skills in hand. He looked at the USB flash drive in his hand and directly used a special instrument to read out the information inside. It has to be said that Yi Hao's cultivation talent is very terrifying, and it didn't take long for him to master the body and martial arts in his hands. It will take up to 3 days to reach the realm of Shaocheng. Yi Hao calculated his progress and showed a satisfied smile. Since getting the sign-in talent, he found that his cultivation talent and understanding have improved a lot. Soon, you can sign in again. Looking at the disappearing sun and the gradually brightening streetlights, Yi Hao unknowingly practiced all afternoon. Take the 7-color flower first. In the room, Yi Hao practiced until early morning. He looked at the time on his phone, put the 7-color flower into his mouth and chewed it gently. It tastes okay. With the blessing of qi and blood, the 7-color flower quickly turned into a stream of pure energy, pouring into his limbs and bones. The recovery effect seems to have improved a lot. It didn't take long for Yi Hao to discover that his recovery talent had improved his efficiency a lot. It's a pity that the signing talent has no response at all. Yi Hao looked at his sign-in talent and found that there was no change at all. Even the description on the message was exactly the same as before. It is worthy of being the only level of existence, and it is indeed extraordinary. Sign in. After absorbing the 7-color flower, the sign-in talent returned to normal, and Yi Hao couldn't wait to start today's sign-in. Sign in successfully, congratulations on getting 20 points of blood. Quote ? Quote. After signing in, Yi Hao felt the energy and blood in his body surge. Fortunately, it was the energy and blood obtained through talent. It didn't take long for him to integrate the sudden 20 points of energy and blood into his body. This wasn't the first time he signed in to get qi and blood, but he didn't expect that this time he actually received 20 points of qi and blood. Could it be the effect of 7-color flowers? He suddenly thought of the 7-color flower he had just taken. After all, the sign-in talent had not been upgraded at this time. Logically speaking, even if he signed in to gain qi and blood this time, it should be 10 points of qi and blood instead of 20 points of qi and blood. This is the 3rd level of warrior. Only then did Yi Hao realize that his energy and blood had reached 35 points, which meant that he had reached the 3rd level of a warrior. Is this the only power of his talent? Now that he takes the college entrance examination, he should be able to directly enter the top 10,000 in the province. However, thinking that the realm of the children of the aristocratic family would be rapidly improved with the blessing of huge resources, his inner excitement slowly dissipated a lot. However, there are still 26 days left before the college entrance examination. I can still sign in 26 times, and after 6 more times, my talent will be upgraded. The things I sign in by then will definitely be better. Yi Hao was not too nervous. After all, he had only signed in 4 times, and his strength had undergone tremendous changes. Maybe by the time he takes the martial arts exam, he will have become a strong martial artist. Then it will be the father who beats his son. Early the next morning, Yi Hao saw the familiar face at home again. Zhang Sa, you woke up too early. Yi Hao looked at Zhang Sa, who appeared in front of him, and couldn't help but complain. He suspected that the other party came in time for the meal on purpose. But this time, Zhang Sa did not refuse the breakfast prepared by Yi Mu. I'm ready. Let's go after eating, Zhang Sa said while eating. He can't wait. If they get the Earth Core Fruit, also known as the Earth Fruit, he is confident that he can upgrade his intermediate talent to advanced talent, and he will definitely get a good result in the martial arts test. By the way, this is for you. Yi Hao took out the 7 color flowers that he had prepared for the other party. 7 colored flowers. When she saw the 7 color flower in Yi Hao's hand, Zhang Sa felt happy and took it directly. Since Yi Hao gave it to him, the other party has naturally taken it. However, looking at the 7 colored flowers, there was a strange look on his face. You are not selling your butt, are you? This thing seems to be only found in the Zhao family's secret realm. 7 color flowers are special herbal medicines, and all the 7 color flowers nearby were brought out by the Zhao family. However, the colorful flowers they own are generally not given to others. Either a child of the family, or a genius who signed a contract with the Zhao family. But no matter how you look at it, Yi Hao's elementary talent doesn't look like a genius. Zhao Li gave it to me, don't give it back to me. Yi Hao rolled his eyes at Zhang Sa and did not explain too much. Zhao Li actually belongs to the Zhao family, and she can also get 7 color flowers, 2 at a time. It seems that Zhao Li's status in the Zhao family is not low. When he heard that it was from Zhao Li, Zhang Sa opened his mouth slightly to express his surprise. He did not expect that Zhao Li, who was ordinary in school, actually belonged to one of the 4 major families. Eat yours now, Yi Hao said helplessly. Looking at the 7 color flower in his hand, Zhang Sa threw it directly into his mouth, chewing a handful and said, Zhao Li seems to have been pursuing you, otherwise you should just accept it. She is a truly rich woman. He did it entirely for the benefit of his brothers. Being able to associate with the direct descendants of the 4 major families would save him from going astray for decades. Future achievements will at least be at the level of a martial artist. Yi Hao looked at the other person's mouth that couldn't be closed even after eating, and couldn't help but said, can't you just be quiet for a while? Okay, Zhang Sa smiled. Then he started refining the 7 color flowers in his body. At this time, Zhao Li also sent a message asking him what his plans were for today. Yi Hao casually found an excuse and fooled him. He was also afraid that he would get deeper into trouble, so it was better to stay away. On the other side, after discovering Yi Hao's alienation, Zhao Li gently flipped through the messages on her phone. After a long time, she sighed heavily. This guy is still exactly the same as before. Zhao Li turned off her phone, sat up from the luxurious soft couch, straightened her clothes, and walked out of the room with small steps. What, you're in trouble again? On the sofa in the living room, Zhao Li's father looked at Zhao Li coming down the stairs with a trace of amusement on his face. This guy is still the same as before. Zhao Li shook her head helplessly. Then let's be friends, Father Zhao said with a smile. Since you can't be your own son-in-law, it's not bad to become friends with your own daughter. Well, Zhao Li sighed deeply. She didn't expect that this was the first time she would actively pursue a man, but she would run into obstacles again and again. Dad, let me go to the ancestral realm. Suddenly, there seemed to be something more in her eyes, and her face was full of determination. Are you sure? After hearing that his precious daughter wanted to enter the ancestral realm, Father Zhao was also full of seriousness. Everything in their Zhao family comes from their ancestral realm. It can be said that without the ancestral realm, there would be no Zhao family. As for what is in the ancestral realm, only the children of the Zhao family who enter the ancestral realm know. And every child of the Zhao family who successfully walked out of the ancestral realm has greatly improved their realm and combat power. But more of them are completely lost in the ancestral realm. This is a place where opportunities and dangers coexist. Dad, I'm sure. Zhao Li nodded heavily. Good. At Yi Hao's home, Zhang Sa had completely absorbed the seven-color flower in her body. There was a hint of joy on his face. How about it? Yi Hao saw Zhang Sa's expression and naturally knew that the other party had gained a lot of benefits, so he asked curiously. Zhang Sa looked at Yi Hao proudly and said with a smile, all attributes have been improved by 35%, and a certain amount of mental attributes have been improved. In this way, I can maintain my violent state for 10 seconds longer. You're really lucky. Yi Hao also nodded when he heard this. The violent increase in all attributes is terrifying, but with the blessing of such terrifying attributes, there are huge considerations for the owner's spirit and body. A warrior with huge energy and blood, his physical body is acceptable, but the most important thing is his mysterious spiritual power. In other words, if you want to extend the duration of the violent state, strong mental power is very important. However, it is so difficult to improve mental strength. Nowadays, Zhang Sa has obtained spiritual attributes through the seven-color flower, and her luck is incredible. Zhang Sa chuckled and said, okay, it's time to set off. Well, let's go. Yi Hao nodded. Not long after, they arrived at the school. Gather at the Gobi. After finishing speaking, Zhang Sa walked directly into the secret realm. Yi Hao also walked in. After opening his eyes again, he felt a burning sensation coming towards him, making him couldn't help but squint his eyes. This time, my luck is good. Seeing the Lois in his eyes, Yi Hao's face lit up with joy. Unexpectedly, this time he was teleported directly to the desert. Zhang Sa is also nearby. He took off his backpack and took out a piece of white jade. Looking at Yuju, which exuded a faint white fluorescence, his eyes lit up. In the secret realm, due to the different ways of heaven, human communication tools have lost their function. And the jade in his hand is a special treasure. Originally they were a pair, one black and one white. If the two jade pieces were close to each other, the jade pieces would fluoresce. Now looking at the reaction of the jade in his hand, it is obvious that Zhang Sa, who has the black jade, is nearby. Not long after, under Yuju's guidance, the two met smoothly. That teleportation array, do you still remember the way? We just met, Yi Hao asked curiously. In addition to sand and bare rocks, there is basically no difference in the Gobi. Coupled with the wild sand that blows up from time to time, it is as difficult as climbing to the sky to find a teleportation array. I'm not stupid. Zhang Sa proudly took out the second piece of jade from his arms. In order to prevent him from finding the teleportation array, he directly placed another piece of jade there. That's fine. Yi Hao breathed a sigh of relief. Then, under the leadership of Zhang Sa, they slowly walked towards the direction guided by Yuju. Fortunately, the teleportation array is not far away. It didn't take long for them to reach their destination. Inside this cave, not long after, Zhang Sa stopped. He pointed to the cave in front, with a hint of joy on his face. He was also lucky enough to discover this teleportation array. Then go in. Yi Hao nodded. Afterwards, the two of them walked into the cave. We seem to be going down. Yi Hao felt as if he was walking underground, and couldn't help but reveal a trace of doubt. After feeling it for a moment, Zhang Sa nodded, I feel the same way. However, since nothing else happened, the two of them did not have too many doubts. Arrive. Not long after, they reached the end, where there was a huge cave. In the center of the cave is the teleportation array. It exudes white light and becomes the only light in the cave. Looking at the teleportation array in front of him, Zhang Sa's face showed a hint of excitement. Something's wrong. Yi Hao stopped Zhang Sa, who wanted to move forward, and frowned. What's wrong? Under the light of the teleportation array, Zhang Sa could barely see Yi Hao's face clearly. He also noticed that the other party's face was very ugly, and asked quickly. There is another scent here. As a warrior, Yi Hao could clearly sense that there were not only the auras of the two of them in this cave, but also the auras of other lives, and there were so many of them. What? After Zhang Sa heard Yi Hao's words, he subconsciously looked at those dark corners. Although the teleportation array is emitting light, some places are still in darkness. The breath in Yi Hao's mouth should be hiding in these dark corners. I'll go take a look. You just stay here at the teleportation array. Yi Hao pointed to the teleportation array in front of him and said very seriously. Good. Zhang Sa understood that with his own fighting power, Following Yi Hao would be a disservice, and staying in the teleportation array was the best choice. He nodded immediately. Yi Hao glanced at Zhang Sa, then picked up the flashlight and walked towards the dark corner. I didn't expect this cave to be so big. He also did not expect that he had not found the edge of the cave after walking for 5 minutes. When he looked back, he found that the teleportation array had turned into a small white light spot in front of his eyes. You can see how big this cave is. I don't know who made the teleportation array here. Yi Hao murmured quietly. So soft. Yi Hao was walking without noticing that his front was blocked. Just when he noticed something abnormal, he subconsciously touched the thing in front of him with his hand, but he felt that he touched a soft thing with a little bit of heat. Yi Hao frowned, slowly took a few steps back, and then turned the flashlight in his hand to the maximum, finally fully illuminating the wall in front of him. Earth Dragon. At this point, Yi Hao discovered that the creature in front of him was actually a huge earth dragon. He had just touched the opponent's body, but the state of the earth dragon in front of him was very strange, as if he was sleeping. It looks like an ordinary earth dragon. I don't know what it ate, but it grew so big. The earth dragon in front of him was red all over, and except for its size, it was no different from an ordinary earth dragon. Seeing this, Yi Hao was also full of curiosity. The number is really high. Soon, as his flashlight moved, Yi Hao saw clearly that the rock walls of those caves were densely packed with earth dragons. Yi Hao, how are you? Seeing Yi Hao come back, Zhang Sa finally felt much more at ease. Later, Yi Hao told the other party everything he had just seen. Isn't there a treasure here? Zhang Sa and Yi Hao looked at each other and saw the speculation in each other's eyes. To be able to make ordinary earth dragons have such a great degree of evolution, even reach the level of first-order monster beasts, and still in such a large number, this heavenly material and earthly treasure must not be a mortal thing. If it were ordinary heavenly materials and earthly treasures, it would be impossible for so many earth dragons to evolve to such a level. Zhang Sa nodded in agreement. Then let's look for each other separately. Yi Hao Dao. Zhang Sa nodded. Then I'll go to the left. After finishing speaking, Zhang Sa walked to the right with a flashlight. Seeing this, Yi Hao also groped towards the right. Yi Hao, come here quickly, I found it. Not long after, excited voices came from Zhang Sa's side. So fast. Yi Hao also felt a little incredible about Zhang Sa's luck. Is the other party the protagonist? Seeing Yi Hao coming to his side, Zhang Sa pointed to the stone wall in front of him and said, "Look, see if there is anything on it." Let me take a look. Yi Hao nodded, and then looked in the direction of the flashlight. Then I discovered that there was an extraordinary scene on that wall. The earth dragons that should have been densely covered with them disappeared without a trace on this stone wall. Just because a huge crystal was exposed in the center of his stone wall. It is dull, but its surface is extremely smooth, like a perfectly cut gemstone. It contains the purest energy in the world, causing the blood and qi in the two people's bodies to surge up. Under the illumination of the flashlight, it reflected streaks of dark purple light, making it look extremely eerie. Zhang Sa looked at Yi Hao, thought for a moment, and said, "Yi Hao, if I guess correctly, this seems to be a complete soul crystal." Yes, this is indeed a soul crystal, and there is most likely a complete soul stone vein underneath. After hearing Zhang Sa's speculation, Yi Hao also fell into deep thought. Then he understood what the other party meant, and immediately gave a bolder speculation. Soul stones are special stones that contain soul power. Then soul crystals are special crystals condensed from the purest soul power. Its value is far higher than that of high-grade soul stones, and it can even be said to be a priceless treasure. According to rumors, soul crystals can even preserve living beings within them and extend their lifespan. Even though only a small part of the soul crystal in front of them was exposed, they could still tell that it was a huge thing. Being able to produce such a terrifying volume of soul crystals means that there should be a complete vein of soul stones underground. At least it is a high-level soul stone vein, otherwise it would be impossible to condense such a volume of soul crystal. Now, we are going to get rich, but it's a pity, how are we going to transport this soul crystal out? After listening to Yi Hao's explanation, Zhang Sa's breathing gradually became rapid. But when he thought that there was no way for the two of him to take him out, he instantly fell into anger. Let's find a way to get a space ring, Yi Hao said helplessly. This is currently the best way. Fortunately, no one else discovered this soul crystal. They still have a lot of time to get this huge soul crystal wrong. Then, he thought of his rich wife Zhao Li. If he asked, the other party should lend it to him. There seems to be a space ring in my dad's safe. Zhang Sa suddenly thought of his father's safe. He seemed to have seen the space ring last time. At that time, I was afraid that my father would find out, so I didn't dare to move. Since all the third-grade elixirs have been stolen, it shouldn't be a big deal if the space ring is taken. Anyway, if you get beaten when the time comes, just get beaten. This wasn't the first time he had been beaten. All right. Thinking that Uncle Zhang's safe was going to be in trouble again, Yi Hao didn't know what to say and could only nod helplessly. Let's cover up this soul crystal first, so as not to be discovered by others. Zhang Sa looked at Yi Hao, and then pointed at the soul crystal revealed not far away. Although he didn't believe that anyone would find this place, it was better to cover it up just in case. Okay, Yi Hao nodded. He also had this idea. Then he and the other party dug some soil from the ground and completely covered the exposed soul crystal. Now it seems that these earth dragons can evolve to such a large size only because of the soul stone veins underneath. It is really good luck. Yi Hao looked at the earth dragon not far away with envious eyes. It's a pity that the level of this secret realm is too small. Otherwise, the achievements of this group of earth dragons would be unimaginable. It's a pity that in low-level secret realms, they can never break through to the third level. We can't move the soul stone vein below. Zhang Sa showed a look of regret. Once the underground soul stone veins are excavated, the movement will definitely attract the attention of others if it lasts for a long time. Moreover, so many first-order earth dragons woke them up, making the movement even greater. The earth dragon turning over is no joke. Then the gains outweigh the losses. We can just come and get it when we get stronger. Yi Hao said with a smile. He believed in his talent, and he would be able to crush these earth dragons in no time. When the time comes, the underground soul stone veins must be evacuated. 2. Zhang Sa and Yi Hao looked at each other and smiled. He also felt that he was a little greedy. Let's go, it's time for us to head to the teleportation array. Looking at Zhang Sa, who was still feeling regretful, Yi Hao gently patted his shoulder. Then he walked towards the direction of the teleportation array. Coming. Zhang Sa quickly caught up and then got into the teleportation array. In a flash of light, they had disappeared. When they opened their eyes again, they found that they were in a dense jungle, surrounded by towering giant trees. The surrounding vegetation is also lush and full of infinite vitality. They even saw a few first-grade herbs, and the two of them took them one by one without any politeness. What a rich energy! Yi Hao opened his mouth and breathed in the surrounding air greedily. He could clearly feel that the energy contained here was much higher than other places in the secret realm. As expected of a central area, the energy is quite abundant. Only the true overlord is qualified to live here. Central Lake is right in front. Zhang Sa pointed forward and said with a smile. Let's go. Yi Hao nodded and followed. Not long after, the appearance of the central lake appeared completely in front of him. The surface of the lake was extremely calm, with not even a single ripple appearing on the water. It was as if everything around him was still, and it seemed extraordinarily quiet. In the middle of the lake, there is a small raised island. On that island, there is a huge tree growing, covered with round, snow-white fruits. Ground fruit. The white fruits hanging on the trees are the purpose of their trip, geocentric fruits. A strange fruit that can improve one's talent level after eating it is also the purpose of their trip. The moment he saw the earth core fruit, Zhang Sa couldn't help but get excited. Previously, with the blessing of the seven-colored flower, his talent had been greatly improved. He believed that as long as he took one more earth core fruit, his talent would be upgraded to a high level. With advanced talent, his achievements will be unimaginable. After all, his talent is violent with extremely powerful fighting ability. Once Fury reaches a high level, it is even comparable to some weaker top talents. When it comes to the martial arts exam, his performance will definitely overwhelm other students. Maybe, he can also touch the threshold of top martial arts schools. As for the 4 top universities, they are not at a level he can currently touch. The 4 majors, the minimum requirement is top-level talent, and no less than the 8th level of a warrior. This was still the requirement for admissions from the 4 major universities last year. It is said that this year there are more talented people than in previous years. Speaking of this year's enrollment requirements, I'm afraid you have to reach the martial arts level to have a chance to enter. Where's the silver python? Yi Hao was not as excited as Zhang Sa, but looked at the other party with a serious face. Silver python has a good bloodline in his body. If it weren't for the upper limit of the low-level secret realm, which restricted the opponent's evolutionary level, the opponent would have already advanced to the 3rd or even 4th level. Moreover, the combat power of this monster beast is extremely terrifying. With the blessing of the terrifying body and blood, I am afraid that the real combat power has already reached the 3rd level. With him alone, he has just entered the 3rd level of warrior strength. Facing this 2nd level king, he is simply vulnerable. I'm afraid that just by meeting each other, I will be crushed into a pulp by the other party. Not to mention, Zhang Sa is not even a warrior. Therefore, he was not as happy as Zhang Sa. If they can't find the silver python at this time, they may not even know how to die. Not to mention stuffing 3rd-grade elixir into the opponent's mouth to obtain the earth core fruit, which is even more wishful thinking. Zhang Sa saw the seriousness on Yi Hao's face and retracted his smile, then fell into deep thought. Then, he expressed his guess. Actually, I didn't see the silver python the last time I came here. According to my guess, the silver python should be sleeping under the central lake. After all, this central lake is the opponent's territory, and no other monsters dare to come here. Quote. After listening to Zhang Sa's guess, Yi Hao's mood became heavier and heavier. He said helplessly, if the silver python is really sleeping at the bottom of the lake, then how can we give the 3rd-grade elixir to the other party? If we don't stun the opponent, we won't be able to get the earth core fruit at all. Quote. I'm afraid we can only have the slightest chance by mixing this elixir into the flesh and blood it eats while the other party is out looking for food. Zhang Sa also understood. He and Yi Hao were too naive. Thinking of things too simply. This becomes so complicated only after it really begins. This is a top 2nd-level monster king. If you can easily obtain the treasures of heaven and earth guarded by the other party, wouldn't everyone have a chance? Wait a minute, something doesn't seem right. Suddenly, Yi Hao raised his hand to signal Zhang Sa to be quiet. Then, he breathed frantically. The smell of blood. He actually felt a trace of blood smell in the air. You know, this is a restricted area for silver pythons, so how could it smell like blood? Even if it is hunting monsters, it is impossible for silver python to hunt near the central lake. No monster dares to approach its territory. Then, there is only one possibility. This bloody smell was emanating from the silver python. Then who injured this silver list again? Thinking of this, Yi Hao's eyes revealed a trace of madness. He turned his head instantly, pointed at the geocentric fruit in front of him and said to Zhang Can, quick, let's get that geocentric fruit quickly. If anything strange is discovered, activate the token in the body and send it out. This is our only chance. Quote. Good. Although he didn't know what Yi Hao had discovered, after seeing Yi Hao's serious eyes, Zhang Sa jumped directly into the lake and swam towards the island in the central lake. Because he believed that Yi Hao would not harm him. As expected of a king-level existence among 2nd-order monsters. Mr. Zhou looked at the silver python not far away and couldn't help showing a hint of appreciation. Like the silver python, this kind of monster with extremely powerful bloodline is equivalent to the favored son of heaven among humans in the outside world. If it weren't for the fact that this was a secret place in the school, he really wanted to take this silver python out and make it his pet. The secret realm restricts its growth, but once it reaches the outside world, its bloodline will play a real role. I'm afraid it won't take long for this giant python to reach the 3rd or even 4th level, and then become a big help to him. Despicable humans. Silver python could feel that the human body in front of him contained a powerful energy. It was obvious that the other party's realm was not at the 2nd level at all, but had reached a higher level, which made it extremely unhappy. If it is really the same level, the old man with eyes is 100% no match for it. It's a pity that despite possessing such an advanced bloodline, he was thrown into this elementary secret realm and could never break through to the 3rd level. If he breaks through the 3rd level and obtains his own magical power, how dare the old man in front of him dare to be so rampant in front of him? It hates. It hated the guy who kidnapped him into this primary secret realm. Advanced bloodline. Seeing the silver python speaking human words, Mr. Joe's eyes were full of surprise. You must know that only when the monster reaches the 3rd level, which is equivalent to the human master level, can it have the opportunity to speak human words. Only when you reach the 4th level can you have the opportunity to transform into a human form. The silver giant python in front of him can actually speak human words at the 2nd level, which shows that the opponent's bloodline is extremely advanced. In this regard, he once again felt regretful. Mr. Joe, please deal with this guy quickly. I always feel like something bad has happened. Bai Ling gently waved the white wings behind her and stayed in the air, but her eyes couldn't stop looking in the direction of the central lake. Just now, her heart felt an inexplicable throbbing, as if something was moving away from her. If this silver python hadn't been stopping him, I'm afraid he would have obtained the earth core fruit long ago. Therefore, she also looked at Mr. Joe on the side and urged him quickly. Good. After hearing Bai Ling's urging, Mr. Joe nodded and planned to directly deal with the silver python in front of him. Silver python pan cursed. Mr. Joe touched the space ring, and a green long sword appeared, floating gently in the air, exuding strong spiritual energy. This is a 4th level treasure. He gently stroked the turquoise sword in his hand. You are lucky to die in Qingyi's hands. Qingyi is the name of this 4th level treasure. Human, how dare you? The silver python struggled to escape, but found that his body seemed to be pressed by mountains. Now it can only roar in anger, trying to save its own life. Prison break style. It's a pity that Mr. Joe has no intention of letting the other party go. As soon as he finished speaking, a sword intent, as vast as a sea of smoke, with turquoise sword energy, directly crushed the silver python. Ah! The giant python felt that his life was passing by at an extremely fast speed. After letting out a painful roar, a blood-red thin line appeared on its head, and then slowly grew in size until its body was divided into 2 halves. Is this the Grand Master? Seeing the 2nd level monster that was instantly killed, Bai Ling showed a hint of curiosity on his face. Even if Mr. Joe's realm has been suppressed to the 2nd level, the combat power that the opponent can display is far beyond the range that the 2nd level monster can bear. This is the terror of the Grand Master. What's more important is that Mr. Joe in front of him is still the most terrifying Kendo Grandmaster in the Grandmaster realm. The combat ability he possesses far exceeds that of the same level. When you reach my level, your combat power will definitely far exceed mine. Don't think too much about it. Mr. Joe also saw the shock in Bai Ling's eyes, and Dang even took back the Qingyi in his hand and said with a smile. He knew very well how powerful the 2-winged angel was. Each pair of wings can greatly enhance the owner's strength. What's more, the 2-winged angel has advanced abilities and will increase his talent level as his realm improves. When Bai Ling advanced to the Grand Master realm, the wings behind him should be able to reach 6 wings. With the combat power at that time, even as a Grand Master of Sword Dao, he would definitely not be his opponent. Well, Mr. Joe, let's go get the Earth Core fruit first. After Bai Ling looked at the wings behind him, he felt a strong sense of confidence in his heart. Yes, she has the talent of a double-winged angel, and her future achievements will definitely not be inferior to hers. When it obtains the Earth Core fruit, it can even upgrade its talent to the 4-wing level in advance. In the martial arts test, no one will be her opponent. Yi Hao, there are 10 Earth Core fruits in total, and each of us has 5. Looking at the Earth Core fruits in his hand, Zhang Sa counted 5 of them and gave them to the other party. Go out first, I have a feeling that something bad will happen if you stay any longer. Yi Hao looked at the unusually calm central lake and vaguely felt something was wrong. Then just go out. Zhang Sa nodded, he had the same feeling. After putting the geocentric fruit into his backpack, he activated the token in his arms and dissipated into a burst of light rain. Goodbye. Yi Hao took one last look at the fruit tree in front of him and disappeared. By the time Bai Ling appeared at the central lake, the 2 of them had already been gone for a long time. It's all gone. When he saw that the tree that was supposed to be full of white fruits now didn't even have a core fruit, Bai Ling's face instantly became gloomy and he felt like his heart was bleeding. I didn't expect that someone else would pick the peach. Mr. Joe's face also became very ugly. His attention was always on the silver python and he didn't notice it at all. because he felt that no student could make it here except him. Moreover, he had clearly set up a formation at the entrance, so no one else could get in at all. So who picked these earth core fruits? Is it possible that there is a teleportation array here? Mr. Joe let go of his mental power and slowly covered the surrounding area. Unfortunately, his realm was suppressed to the second level, and his mental power could only cover a distance of 5 miles. Within this distance, he did not find any abnormalities. In this regard, he couldn't help but have a guess. Only in this way can we bypass the formation he arranged at the entrance and directly enter the interior of the central lake. It's a pity that the teleportation array used by Yi Hao and Zhang Sai is a one-way teleportation array, with only a way out and no way in. This also resulted in him getting nothing. That's all, Mr. Joe, go to other restricted areas. Bai Ling's expression changed several times in a short period of time, and finally returned to his usual state. She sighed softly, then flew back and said to Mr. Joe. Well, that's all. Mr. Joe nodded and followed. He naturally knew what Bai Ling was thinking, and wanted to evolve his talents in advance in order to get better results in the martial arts exam. Fortunately, there are other restricted areas in this secret realm. Heavenly materials and earthly treasures that also have the same effect. It seems that someone placed it there intentionally. Yi Hao, I'm going back first, and we'll meet again at this time tomorrow. Zhang Sa looked at Yi Hao, who appeared not far away, and said, Okay. Yi Hao nodded and then said goodbye to Zhang Sa. Yi Hao, I'm going to retreat in a secret place for a month. Remember to miss me. Yi Hao took out his mobile phone and looked at the message that had just been refreshed. It was from that little girl Zhao Li, and the time was 8 o'clock sharp. Yi Hao understood something after reading this message, and murmured softly, Have you gone to the secret realm to retreat? After thinking for a while, he replied, Come on, I'll wait for you to come back. After looking at other news and seeing that there was nothing important, he walked towards the school's practice room. This is where they usually practice martial arts, and there is also a separate practice room. On weekdays, he rarely gets an independent practice room. But now, most of the senior high school students are in the junior secret realm, and the practice room seems very deserted, with only a few people. Yi Hao, why don't you go to the secret realm? A voice sounded from behind Yi Hao. Wu Lei, I encountered some accidents and came out. Yi Hao turned around, looked at the familiar face in front of him, and said with a smile. Wu Lei, the sports committee member of his class. I thought you gave up on the martial arts exam. Wu Lei said with a smile. He knew that his squad leader had awakened elementary talent, which was no different from having no talent in the martial arts examination, so after seeing him appear in the practice room, he couldn't help but have this idea. What about you? Why are you here? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.